Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, and welcome along to the Sports Corner Live. Can you remember with the World Cup when the guy used to go, the greatest show on earth? Well, we've got the great show at Wembley today because it's England against Croatia in Group D. We kick off with, well, what is probably the best game of the whole tournament, if you're an England fan, of course. It should be an interesting match, and joining me today, none of us, as we were saying before, have actually got England shirts. Unfortunately, none of us are actually wearing it today. But we've got Rowan at the top of me right now, who is, of course, going to be supporting Sancho today. I think you'll have a few words about him later on. And then joining me at the bottom of the screen, of course, got to have some justice for him, is Mr. Kieran L. How are we both doing, guys? Are we all good?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, apart from melting in the heat. And no doubt, I think a lot of these players today are going to be feeling the heat on the pitch, especially with the London temperatures as well. But look, big game this is. Kickoff is in about 5 minutes' time, but it's not just this game today that's going on. We've got a double header, and there's two of us for it because me and Kyle will be back later on for Austria against North Macedonia, the best game of the day. And then, of course, at 8 o'clock, there is Netherlands-Ukraine, which we're not going to be covering on the channel, but no doubt that'll be a cracking game on its own. But without further ado, as I said, time is getting on and of the essence. Let's have a quick look at you guys in the comments. Chris is in the building. How are you doing, Chris? He says, hi, lads. Hope you're all well. Hope you're good as always, Chris. And then Aaron's in the building as well. Welcome along to the stream, Aaron, mate. Hope you are all good. And then Chris has put, as we'll go through the lineups in a second, no Grealish, playing shambolic decision. You take two left backs, but don't play one. Baffling, really. But come on, the Free Lions. Not going to be pessimistic, which is good to see. We love that, Chris. Good to see no pessimism today until we concede a goal, no doubt. I think we've got to talk straight away. England lineup, as you guys can see on the screen, 4-2-3-1 today for England. You might have seen the rumours circulating this morning that I think Gareth Southgate picked this while he was pissed, and he probably did pick it while he was pissed because Sancho and Chilwell are both not available today. They're not injured; he just didn't want to take them. I don't know why, but they're not there. But yeah, he's in goal. Trippier, Stones, and Walker. Tripford, I don't think he'd be a good pairing. Trippier, Stones, Mings and Walker at about 4. Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice are the two holding midfielders, with Mason Mount as the central attacking midfielder. Raheem Sterling's on the left-hand side. Phil Foden's on the right. Harry Kane is up top, of course, on the bench. Whole host of players. Grealish, Henderson, DCL, which no doubt hopefully we'll see at some point for KL. And, of course, Jude Bellingham as well for Rowan. But before we talk through the Croatia team, KL, I know you said you were holding your thoughts on the England team until we went live. What are your thoughts on it?
You can tell it's a strange lineup when Pickford being in goal isn't our only point of contention. Because no one's even mentioned that. I think, Henderson could have gone in there. Trippier at left-back seems a bizarre decision. But I will say, when I watched us in a friendly, on the left-hand side, with Mings and Shaw next to each other, looks so off-balance. And when Mings is one-on-one, I don't back him at all. I don't think he should be in the team. I would have preferred maybe Ben White, who I think looks very calm and composed at the back for England and likes to play out from the back. Midfield, I'm actually not fussed about the midfield too much. I think it's a decent midfield. And then the front three, I like the addition of Foden, but for me, I don't know how Grealish hasn't even got in the team, considering he was clearly our most dangerous player in the friendlies leading up to it. I'm not sure about the addition of Raheem Sterling, but as we said earlier, Josh, we'll say all this and he'll go and bag. But his season doesn't reflect a place in the starting 11, and Sancho is more deserving of even being on the bench, in my opinion. I don't know how he's missed out completely. We said, Josh, Chilwell, we understand, had a Champions League final. Sancho was playing in the friendlies, seemed to be heading into the squad, and I don't know. But that's it, because it's national anthem, so...
It is. I've just realised I need to get BBC iPlayer up because I'm still on TV. Rowan, as you said before, Sancho, obviously repping your boy today. He's not even in the team. What are your thoughts on the lineup? What do you think about it?
Genuinely, I actually don't have a problem with that. The left back position in Trippier, and I know that's going to sound so mental, but again, it's very similar to what Kieran said. We were awful against Romania. I would have genuinely, like Kieran said, Ben White or Conor Cody over Mings. I don't mind Trippier playing at left back. Very surprising. I think Chilwell would have been that number one if it probably wasn't for fitness, I presume. Again, like you said, Pickford, I'm fine with. I think he is a good enough goalkeeper. Would have been nice to see one of the other two get a start. Yes. I think up front, we are blessed. We are very blessed. Harry Kane there. Phil Foden on the right, I'm fine with. Again, would have loved to see Sancho even on the bench, because I would have been fine with Foden and Grealish. Like you said, Grealish was one of our best players in the friendlies. I just think with Raheem Sterling, I'm hoping with Southgate, there's a method to his madness, and he's going, I trust Raheem, I want him to be there. The one man I'm so happy that he's there is Mason Mount, one of probably the best English players of this year, and hopefully this is the game where he can say, I'm your England, one of your main midfielders, don't ever think about choosing anyone, I will be your number one forever.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, there is a method to the madness, as Rowan said. We'll have to seize the game, of course, just getting away very shortly. We'll have a look at the Croatia lineup as well. I think Croatia, of course, it was 3 years ago when we played them in the World Cup. They've lost a few players since then. Mandzukic and Rakitic both retiring a few years ago from international football. But even now, Croatian squad is still very strong. Zagreb goalkeeper Dominik Livakovic is in goal, being linked with was linked with a move to Dortmund. Of course, that's not going to happen now. Josko Gvardiol, RB Leipzig player, was on loan at Hajduk Split last season. He plays at left back. Really pissed off because there's obviously no Bona Barisic, who's in my fantasy football team. So thank you very much. Duja Chiletakar alongside Domagoj Vida. That's going to be a strong defence. Chiletakar, of course, linked with West Ham. Simi Vrsaljko not playing much this season for Atletico Madrid because of Trippier. He's in the right back position. That midfield three, I mean, even without Rakitic, it's still bloody strong. Luka Modric, Kovacic, and Marcelo Brozovic are the three midfielders today. The player with the least caps in that midfield has 60. So that roughly tells you how good they all are in the side. And then up top, even without Mandzukic anymore, there is one player who, obviously, we watch Bundesliga a lot. We know this season he's probably been Hoffenheim's shining light. That's Andre Kramaric. He's alongside one of the best players I think there has ever been for Croatia, Ivan Perisic on the left, and then Ante Rebic is on the right-hand side. On the bench today, they've got the likes of Bedelj, Bruno Petkovic of Zagreb. He's had a brilliant season. No Mislav Orsic, which is quite surprising. I don't know if he's picked up an injury or anything. I'll try and find out. But no Orsic on the bench today, which is very surprising in my personal opinion. But what we'll do is we'll just get ourselves all synced up, and then we'll talk through the Croatian team and everything like that. So what I will say is, first of all, when the timer comes up, what is everybody on roughly now? Because I'll tell you, I'm on 10 seconds.
Oh, I've just kicked off.
You've
7,
just
8, 9, 10.
Pause at 20?
Pause at 20 seconds.
Okay.
Decent.
We'll all start from there because we will be a little bit behind today. We're all on BBC iPlayer, so do not spoil anything in the chat because we don't want to know the score with everything going on. Everybody on 20?
Yeah.
Perfect. Ready? 3, 2, 1, play. There we go.
There we go.
We should all be synced up. And well, we know that realistically we shouldn't have too many problems with syncing up because BBC iPlayer is all right. But when you look at that Croatian team, obviously we know the midfield is incredible. Got world-class players and a Champions League winner in Kovacic, a Ballon d'Or winner with Luka Modric, and a player who won the Serie A with Inter Milan in Brozovic. Who do you think in that team is going to be maybe the player to break this England defence open? Because at the World Cup, it was Modric who was ripping us apart. Do you think it could be him again today, or do you think we've tried to accommodate to that with the two in defence?
I think he's a different type of midfielder to the other two. I think Kovacic is probably second. I don't worry about Brozovic breaking us open in an attacking third because that's not really his job. Brozovic sits in front of the back four, kind of cleans up. So it is them two. But I think you've mentioned before to us, Josh, like Perisic and Rebic are going to be a nuisance all day long. We know what they're like. We've seen the very best of Rebic sometimes at AC Milan. He's absolutely brilliant. But in terms of the attacking threat, if Kramaric gets a chance, it's going to be very hard for us to keep him out because he's an unbelievable finisher. And he's been on fairly decent form for Hoffenheim. I remember a hat-trick in the second half against Gladbach to resolute us to a 3-2 defeat. So don't want to see him again today.
No, he's quite a tricky player to come up against. And I guess the only thing that people have been talking about with Croatia and the weakness that they've got is the defence. Of course, as Chris said in the chat, negative is that Lovren isn't playing. Lovren, of course, out injured, so we're not going to see him for a little while. But that defence, not the strongest in terms of probably playing together. Vida is one of the only realistic ones that have been in the squad for quite a long time. Vrsaljko as well has been in there for quite a bit. But a player like Josko Gvardiol, 19 years of age, As I said, RB Leipzig player, so he hasn't actually played in Germany yet. Will be there next season. Do you think maybe that left-hand side is an area we can expose with someone like a Foden coming up against him? Two young players matching up against each other.
Yeah, I mean, he's where did he say he played?
He played at Hajduk Split.
Yeah, he hasn't had. Luckily for us, I think every player in our starting 11 has had experience in a major league. And you look there, and that when you look at that starting back four, that is that one weakness. I mean, he could come out and surprise everyone. He could be the surprise package of this tournament and go, well, look at that kid. He was one of the best defenders in the tournament. And Leipzig could play him next season, could have a stellar season. But if you're Foden, Raheem Sterling, Harry Kane, you will be looking to tag him. He'll be unexperienced playing against these kind of players. And so it will be very interesting to see how this basically kid, obviously no veteran Troy Luca as well, who I love him. I saw him. Genuinely, he might be one of my favourite players, and I don't know why. There's no reason, but I saw him. I think he must be part of the...
he's on the coaching team now.
Coaching team. He always looks good. Like, his beard look, his hair look, he just looked good. And I like Troy Luca. Big leader as well.
Big leader indeed, yeah. As you said, he's on the coaching team now, so I guess the experience he's got, former Tottenham man in Moscow as well last season before he retired, I think, from football. He's certainly a good player to have in terms of experience as a defender to help the likes of Chaletka and Dobrogoy Vida when it does come to defending. While this game does go on, very quickly, as we've done throughout the entirety of the Euro so far, head-to-head wise, England and Croatia, they faced off 10 times before, a lot of them coming in the last few years. And when you actually look,
Pickford.
England winning the most matches over the 10. England have won 5, drawn 2 and lost 3. The last match we faced off against Croatia was a 2-1 win in the Nations League back in 2018. We played them 3 times in the space of 3 months. 2 of them in the Nations League and then 1, of course, at the World Cup in 2018, where we did, of course, lose 2-1 in extra time to Mandzukic. One to watch for today. Quite luckily, for the first time this tournament, second time actually, they're actually starting. It's Ante Rebic we picked out. Could have picked out an England player. I think it was better to pick out someone on the opposition. And Ante Rebic this season, and for the last 2 seasons at AC Milan, 22 goals in 53 appearances. It's his best record at any club in his whole career. Really has turned it up in Serie A. And I think that is personally the player to look out for today, because Trippier is on the left-hand side. Ante Rebic, who the BBC is saying is starting as the striker, I think he's starting as a right winger, should be someone to watch out for. But Foden with a chance. Yeah, and he's hit the post. And that was an opportunity for the other player on the right-hand side for England to very nearly put the ball into the back of the net. Big chance that was.
It was a lovely breakthrough Sterling in that midfield. Plays it through Foden and sort of really acute angle, nearly in off the post. But I mean, he's one of the guys that practically every pundit, journalist, fan has been saying that they want to see. It was him and Grealish, and he's gone for the Gaza haircut, and hopefully can channel his inner Gaza. But lovely football from England now in that counter attack.
What second are you guys at? Just to let you know.
5:45, 46. I've got a feeling you're out of sync.
Well, the thing was, you reacted to the post before I'd seen it, even though we released at the same time. I don't know.
That's what I thought. I saw you didn't react, and I was very confused, as if maybe you thought he was never going in.
No, Rowan made the sound, so I knew what was coming. So I was like, oh, well, there you go. It's all right. I'm back level, or I should be about 6:09, 10, something like that.
Yeah, I'm 2 seconds ahead of you. But I can't actually turn my controller on to pause it. 2 seconds.
That's all good. That's all good.
I'm not looking anyway, so.
He's in the building. How are you doing, Carlo? You're good. But hey, all. Not going to lie, always want England to lose no matter what, but still, best of luck to England today. Best of luck to Ireland in their Euro campaign. That's non-existent. Adjus, how are we doing, mate? Hope you're all good as always. Have that, Kyle. 1-0. No, jokes aside. What do you think score-wise is going to be? Do tell us your predictions in the chat. We want to know what you guys are predicting for today. But I predicted, because I'm going based off all of my match predictions I've done on the Euros game. I predicted 1-1 for this match. We've never got a good record when it comes to starting at the Euros. In fact, we've never won our first game at the European Championships. So that roughly gives you an idea of England being quite slow starters. But do any of you two have belief we can get a victory on the board?
I actually put 2-1 to England because it's coming home. So that is my reasoning for every result, by the way. There's no like. Do you know when someone says, "Oh, would you want to tactically analyse it?" No, it's just coming home, innit? It's just coming home.
Don't need to analyse it.
Yeah, it's coming home.
My prediction, you know what, it is coming home, and it's 3-1.
3-1. Interesting. Might be a chance though for Sterling here, who's in. He goes down. No real calls for a penalty. It's going to be a corner instead. And Carl's just put, that's just me, Josh. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had to get it in there while I could. Carl has said, though, 2-2 for this game, which would be nice because we haven't had a massive goal thrill yet. We've had big, heavy results, Italy and Belgium, both winning with 3 goals. But we haven't had a goal thrill yet. So it'd be nice for this one to be the game to have the goals in.
Yeah. I should be in sync with you now. It should be all good.
Nice. Alexander's put, he's not coming home. Let's not get out. Well, England fans, we're all optimistic as hell. 90% of us are.
This is the thing. I'm not saying it. Oh, what a strike that was.
That was a brilliant shot from Calvin Phillips. And that's 2 efforts from long range now, which have tested Dominik Livakovic. 2 very decent saves. Well, the first one, of course, he didn't save it, hit the post. But England testing from long range, and it seems to be working its charm right now.
Yeah, and it's a good start for England, but we're not putting it in the back of the net. That's the problem at the moment.
No.
It's the same that happened yesterday with Switzerland, had all the pressure, but we're only 10 minutes in, so I won't get too worried. We are definitely the better team.
Yeah,
100%.
very, very early days. I think Croatia will just hope to, in the first 10 or 15 minutes, whether they storm out of England attacks and break us as we go forward. And actually looking at that England bench as well, of course, we've got a few players that could come on at some point and maybe make a difference. The main players I'm looking at are players like Grealish, Rashford and Saka, and obviously DCL. Players that with about half an hour left have got a bit of pace about them, a bit of trickery that might just be able to catch this. I wouldn't say aging Croatia side, but when you look at the bench of Croatia to ours, they've got a few decent players themselves. I think the best standout, or the 2 standouts, well, actually 3, sorry. Brekalo from Wolfsburg had a brilliant season in Germany, real standout player for them. Nikola Vlasic, whose career since moving from Everton has been incredible in Russia. I do think we'll see him back in Europe again very soon at one of the top clubs. And then also I think we'll see Petkovic as well at some point as well. Had a brilliant season with Dinamo Zagreb. When you look at that Croatia side, again, how we talked about with teams like Austria and Switzerland, there's a lot of reliance on the starting 11 to go out there and get the results, because there's not a great deal of players that you'd expect to make the difference. Not in
the attacking third. Again, do you know, we talk, and I've got to admit, Croatia are just blessed with an incredible midfield. With the starting, but also the substitutes aren't massively dropped. Like Pasalic is a good player. As you said, Vlasic can play as a cam, and Badelj. It just seems like all their talent just merges into the middle of the pitch. And besides that, I'm not really worried. And that'll come back to bite us in the arse, probably. So maybe.
I just like that even the Croatian academies, it's just, what position do you play? Defender. Nah, you'd be a right midfielder, won't you?
Just make him a midfielder.
Do you know how we've took 7 fullbacks? They're taking 15 midfielders.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I guess, when you look back at history in the last few years, they have had a hell of a lot of brilliant players as Kane. I thought he was going to take on the volley then. Leaves it for Foden, who's inside the box. Lays it out into the back of Mason Mount, but the pass was just a little bit too heavy. And it's going to eventually land with Sterling. Back to Mason Mount again. He is Raheem Sterling. Hopefully, we can see him have a good Euros. And, well, not with a pass like that. That's a shocking pass. No. But I think the thing with Croatia is, when Rakitic was playing, one of those midfielders had to miss out. And that's painful, because they're all 4 when Rakitic was there. You know, you've got Rakitic, Modric, Kovacic, and Brozovic. They're all brilliant, brilliant players. And it's very harsh for one of them to have to miss out. And I think usually it was Kovacic. So now he's had the experience, Champions League winner as well. He is a quality player on his day. There's a reason why he's played for Inter Milan, Real Madrid, and Chelsea. And he's only, 25, 26?
Yeah, and I know people take the mick like he only plays 19 minutes in finals, but he is a very good player. And I think people kind of, if you just look at the stats, it doesn't do him justice of what he does. Sorry, I should say he does all the hard work in the midfield. He'll go forward, he'll go back, he'll do what you need him to do. And I think he's a manager's dream, if I'm being 100% honest.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think he's a quality player to have. And I know Lampard was saying on Punditry before he started, he always said, I'd never like to come up against a player like Kovacic because it's not often you find midfielders with lots of pace about them.
Yeah.
Box-to-box player who's rapid. And there's a few players out there that are in a similar mould. I think Zakaria is a very good example of a midfielder who can play box-to-box slightly and he's quick. But there's very few players out there who are rapid and have got skills that aren't attacking midfielders more than box-to-box players.
Yeah. And he's brilliant on the ball as well. When he's got the ball at his feet, be it passing or dribbling, there's not really a weakness to his game. I would say slightly maybe the defensive side isn't as good, but it's still not bad, if you know what I mean. He's just a very well-rounded footballer.
Yeah, definitely. And we're now nearly 15 minutes in already, which has gone by as quick as I think he's ever gone. Croatia haven't really had a chance yet at all. Not seen anything of the front three in Perisic, Rebic and Kramaric, and not the start I think Croatia would want here.
No, they've really been held back at the back there through like Vida and Kletekar trying to play out. It's normally them two trying to play through to Brozovic, who's then going to try and play through to you Kovacic and Modric, but the pressure from England, especially Mason Mount, allow sort of pressuring Brozovic to try and play out to his fullbacks. And we see it a couple of times now where Brozovic being forced to make a poor pass either out of play or to an English player, just because of that heavy pressure from Mason Mount specifically in the midfield. I know Sterling and Calvin Phillips when he's pushed up as well. It looks energetic. I think them two holding midfielders we've got of Rice and Calvin Phillips could be one of our keys to success. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Calvin Phillips, but from what we've seen this Rice-Phillips partnership could work well with the Mount in front of them. I've got big hopes. I also will be rooting for Mason Mount a lot more because I have him to score first and then us to win. And it's like, I have also got one where there's going to be like over 4.5 goals, 15 corners, 70 plus booking points, and it's 750 quid.
I mean, you would have probably needed the the Foden and the Phillips shots to have gone in to make that one remotely interesting.
Right, win 3-2, 5 goals come from corners, and then that's at least, then I just need 10 corners. Every player take the shirt off, that's guaranteed yellows. We're all good.
I mean, I could say the positive is because it's warm as well. They might just quickly take the shirt off to get a bit of a cool down if they score. You never know. Yeah. But yeah, 15 minutes in now, 0-0 as it stands in this game. Possession-wise, I would have probably said we've had about 70%.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to try and have a look now.
It's been a calm performance. I don't think we've really put a foot wrong at all. I think there's been maybe a few shoddy passes, but not enough to where you go, oh, this is an awful performance. It's just, that's a lovely pass behind. Mason Mount on the left. Puts the ball in, and yeah, Foden winning a header.
Slight deflection on that as well. Modric, you're under a bit of pressure, going to have to clear it out. It's not really gone as far as they like it to. Kane's got it done really well, but in the end, good defend at the back from Chaletakar has got the ball, and it'd be a free kick for England, I think. Yeah. Good position, and maybe a good opportunity to take a shot on. Carl's asked in the chat, how far do you guys see England going in the Euros? I'll let you start, Kyle.
Oh, well, the thing is, it changes when you look at how our group falls. Because if we win the group, we get the group of death. If we come second, I think we get like Spain's group or Spain or something like that. I'm just going to say quarters for now. It's always the safest option. But of course, it's coming home, but still quarters.
It's the same as, in the World Cup when we played Belgium in that final game? We both had gone through, and it was a battle for who could finish second to get the easiest tie. Yeah. And Belgium played Adnan Januzaj, we had Loftus-Cheek.
But really... Adnan Januzaj bagged. What a guy! He helped us. What a guy!
He was in like a strange form, weren't he, at Sociedad? There was like a spell of like 3-6 months where Kane, that's defo a pen. Defo a penalty.
No, he's offside.
For me, quarters. I said I would love semi-final. I'd love to get to a semi-final again, but I'll say quarters is chaos and do it perfectly. If we could avoid the group of death, I think we've got a better chance. You know what? We're gonna, because it's coming on. We'll take the game to any of these. Take it to any of the group of death.
I think we must be the only nation that would be quite happy to finish second or third just to get an easy group. I think there's no other nation out there in the world that sits there and goes, we want to finish second. I think everybody wants a good tie, but realistically, the dream scenario is that ourselves and one of the other two teams in our group, or three teams, sorry, in our group, either both win their games or win and draw. So then the other two teams are out of sight. And then preferably we go into that last game. Realistically, it needs to be Czech Republic. We need Czech Republic to either win their first two games or win one, draw one. Croatia and Scotland to be kind of out of sight, we'd like, and then to be in a position where we go into that last game and we just repeat what we did against Belgium again to finish in second. But even then, as you said, Kieran, we'd face Spain, and then after that, we would then face whoever finishes out the group of death against the team that finishes top. So realistically, probably France or Portugal.
But as what's it called said, I think it was Chris Eubank, if you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. As Calvin Phillips takes another long ranger. Good save by Livakovic.
And that was, you talked about sort of the energy of him. Kovacic there, I think coming back, doing his defence duty, taking off Foden, Phillips bundling into him. But Kane's work rate has been really good today. We've seen it there, just basically not stop running in that midfield to get the ball to play through to Phil Foden.
That's where he was best at Tottenham. That's why he's had such a good year, is because he's dropping deep and influencing things. As much as we slag off Mourinho, he really transformed him into a brilliant player. As Mount takes it past one, past two, overlap on the left.
No.
Shoddy touch from Kane. I think he was wanting to lay that off in the end for Calvin Phillips.
Yeah. Have you seen Mourinho's interview on TalkSport where he talked about what he wants his England 11 to be? I'd love to see him as an England manager. I saw under the comments. It'd be just, he's a manager I feel doesn't take much SHIT. And so I'd love to see, because Southgate, I like him. He got us to a World Cup semi-final. But I feel like he's a manager who could how do I word this without? It's a bit of a wimp in terms of, I feel like I'll go, oh, I will play you. I feel mean dropping you. Whereas I would like a manager who will go, you haven't been playing well, I'll drop you.
That's a brilliant
one. Sterling. Might be a chance here. Plays it towards the path of Calvin Phillips. That's a really shoddy pass again from Sterling. But I like that. I think with international football, it's very rare to see managers of massive reputation. I think the biggest reputation manager we've got in international football right now for me is Roberto Mancini, because he's been there, he's done that, he's been at the biggest clubs, he's won trophies at pretty much everywhere he's been. So he has that pedigree about him where he can boss the team about, and they will listen to him because they know what he's done as a manager. And I guess we probably do need something like that, but then at the same time, I think it's very, very hard to go out there and entice a big world-class manager to manage an international team, because most of the time it obviously means moving away from club football and focusing on the international stage completely, because it's just so hard to do two things at once.
Yeah, and managers at clubs also, you can go out and buy the players you want for your system. You've only got a certain pool of players. For example, let's just say we got Guardiola. You can't go out and buy 7 centre-backs because his ones he's got ain't good enough. We're left with Mings, unfortunately. So that's kind of the difference between the club football. But I will say Roberto Martinez as well, he's transformed from club to nation really well.
Yeah, he's done a fairly good job himself. What I would love to see, it'll never happen, but I would love to see a World Cup or a Euros where it was one of the big managers from each nation was chosen to represent their nation as the manager. So obviously for Spain, it would probably be Pep. For Portugal, it would be Jose. For England, it would be Sam Allardyce. Obviously, get all of the big managers and do a World Cup where they take control of the squads.
Oh my God, could you imagine us with a Sean Dyche-esque World Cup? It'd be brilliant.
I'd like it if we choose our two best, because I'd love to see a managerial partnership of Sean Dyche and Eddie Howe. I just feel like they wouldn't partner together, but they wouldn't, they come together to create just a super team.
If we had Dyche, I think we'd recreate the Portugal team that didn't win a game in 90 minutes till the semi-final. We just fought every game and we'll manage to make it through.
I mean, I'd like I would like us to pick someone like an Allardyce or a Dyche. But then, as you said, when we pick a very attacking manager, so we've got two managers with complete contrast of styles. So you're going to have Sam Allardyce sat there, obviously saying we're going to have to part the bus. We'll take the draw. You've got the other manager saying, no, we need to push everybody up the pitch. Just having them bicker on the touchline against each other on what to do. It'd be great. Yeah. But who would you pick, right? If basically you could pick an England manager, they had to take control of the squad. Who would you pick? Because if it was me, I'd pick Chris Wilder.
Oh, we need a manager who knows how to play the game of ball. And if there's only one man, it's Keith Curlball. Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe, I think he was a very good manager at Bournemouth. I'm surprised. Where's he going? Because obviously Andrzej Postecoglou, the former A-League manager, got the Celtic job. Where's Eddie Howe off?
He's just waiting, isn't he? He's nowhere at this point, you know. We're still waiting. I'm surprised that wasn't given as a foul on the edge of the box there. English. See, this is the problem. I can't say my manager because he's from Sandy Road, Belfast, and people know that. So, unfortunately, he can't get the job. Chris Wilder's a good option because he did a lot with a little by literally just utilising his system. I think you've said the main ones. I'll just go Dyche because it's Dyche, innit?
He'll be trying to get Chris Wood to change his nationality. Chris, mate, you don't need to play for New Zealand. It's fine. Come join us.
Ashley Barnes would be on his way to the England squad. Good ball into the box there. Rebic, who's playing in the striker role, doesn't get anything on that. Probably first chance they've had of the game.
Is he Austrian, Ashley Barnes?
He's part Austrian.
I know there was once, because once there was a thing like, was he going to get? He still didn't get called up for Austria. I think he maybe have done one, but it doesn't matter. No offense, he's not getting called up. Sorry.
Wow.
No, I don't think he's going to get ahead of Arnautovic and players like that for now. As much as he's a very good player for Burnley, he's unfortunately probably not as good for the national team. But there's a ball into the box. I'm saying ball into the box. A ball for Croatia.
Quickly speaking on Austrians, could you imagine Sasa Kalajic at Burnley? 6'6" with Chris. Oh yes, this is what I want.
It's a thing made of dreams.
See, I'm interested to see whether he starts today as well against North Macedonia. Whether they go for an Arnautovic on top, because obviously someone like Kalajic, if it gets to a point today against Macedonia where let's say they are losing, they could genuinely go for a 4-4-2. And play Arnautovic and Kalajic up top, and just whip balls to him.
Yeah, I was looking at the friendlies building up to the game, and the last two they did like Kalajic as the starter, but then again we like to play Grealish and he's been dropped. But I think I'd go Kalajic on form. No offense to Arnautovic, I'm sure he's doing great in CSL, but I think I'd go Kalajic just based on form. That's a great throw-in.
It's it.
Oh.
Yeah. Speculative at best.
Speaking of sort of Stuttgart players, you heard about Silas, that he's got a 3-month ban.
Yeah.
Just mental, innit? It's not his fault.
Apparently, it was effective as of now, so it will be. But he's going to be injured for still before. So basically, I think they may have done it. So it's like we have to do it, but what we'll do is we'll do it while you're injured, so you don't miss any. I know it's annoying and it's not a good look. It's really not a good look, but
no.
As Mings misses the header.
Oh, brilliant
Stay
ball.
with him.
Good work,
Well
Mings.
Well done, Mings.
To recover then, really well. Although he's giving the ball away to Modric.
Do you think Croatia are really growing into it now? Because I've got to admit, that first 15 minutes, they couldn't get a foot on the ball, but they seem to be a little bit more confident now. Obviously, they're the away team, so maybe it's just took them a while to kind of get over that home advantage to begin.
Oh.
And there you go.
Yeah, I'd say slowly but surely they're getting into it. I think the reliance has been to whip the ball into the box for now, which I don't think is the best strength of Croatia, as Perisic has probably sent that ball into out of Wembley and into maybe Sheffield or Newcastle or somewhere in the world. But yeah, I think they need to probably get it on the floor a little bit more.
Yeah. I think
just
go on.
I would say, but we're going to see Atletico Madrid's right backs both up against each other today, Zarvin Trippier and Schalke, which is mental because I can't believe Trippier's playing at left back. It's still the one thing that astounds with this team.
This is my only thing. I don't mind Trippier at left back because I think he's a little bit more defensively solid than if we played Shaw, because Shaw likes to get forward. But when Trippier gets forward, he has to cut in on his right. You know what he's going to do because he's a right-footed player playing on the left. So I think
unfortunately, he's no Iron Robin, is he? He's not able to do the magic week in, week out.
No, and he's got hair. That is the massive difference between the two.
I mean, Robin used to have hair when he was a bit younger. Trippier's age, I think he might have had a little bit of hair.
You used to see him playing for Chelsea. It just doesn't look right. Robin with hair is one thing that does not look right.
The thing is, he always used to have the it looked like the Sven-Goran Eriksson look. He'd just have the little frame of hair, wouldn't he, on the outside, with a big massive bald patch in the middle.
He's one of them where you look and just go, give it up, Arjen. It's not meant to be like, I'm holding on to it. It's like...
Might be a chance for Croatia to come forward here. As you said, starting to get a little bit of a foothold in the game. Not done much in terms of attacking prowess. They've taken it onto the right-hand side, though. It's Vasalko, who, as we said, hasn't had much game time this season because of Trippier. Ball played into the path of, I think that was Kramaric. Now back onto the right again to Vasalko, who's going to try and take on Trippier. Lovely ball, but a little bit too heavy. He's going to have to play for a goal kick. And again, it's constant crosses for Croatia right now, and just doesn't seem to be working for him.
No. As Kel, though, said, they're getting the thing again. That's probably then like a third chance in maybe 5 minutes. And we had 20 minutes of pure domination, and now Croatia, I think, really know they need to go for it. And once they get a couple of opportunities, they'll start wearing and going.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just a little bit of a feeler, isn't it? But can I hear something in the background?
Yeah, I'm thinking, is the ice cream man here? Buzzing, lads. I'm just going to nip out for the first half. I want a cornetto. Give me a minute.
I can't blame me in this weather if he's crept out for a quick cornetto.
But no. Oh, there goes Rob.
He's off.
But I will say, maybe the reason they're going wide, Josh, I don't know, is maybe because we've clubbed up that midfield because we've got Phillips and Rice as two holding. Maybe they just don't find any space in the middle, which is arguably the strength of their team. But if we can keep resorting them to going out wide, might be best for us. But Kramaric is a danger in the air. He can be anyway.
Yeah, he can be, and I think we've probably learnt a little bit from the mistakes we made against Croatia in the World Cup when we let Modric have the entirety of the pitch and we didn't mark him for the whole 90 minutes. And we've learned from that, and as you can see, it has been a case of playing out to the right. And if we're being honest, obviously Rebic is out on the right. He isn't technically a winger. He can play there if needed, but naturally he's a striker. And I know obviously he could play as a winger and he'll put decent crosses in, but it is forcing them out onto the right. Perisic has been very quiet on the left, which I think, again, is another player you do want to keep quiet because he's, again, just like how Kovacic is very unique, I think Perisic is another very unique player. He's got a little bit of everything. He's fairly quick. He's got good skills. He's got the height so he can get onto the headers and that. I would say Perisic is in a mould of his own. There's not many. Can you think of any wingers out there that are kind of his build?
No. And not similar in play style either. I think he does everything quite well. I think, as you say, again, I feel most dangered by Perisic when he's got the ball at his feet. Because, again, when he's on the ball, he can be an absolute magician at points. But he also has sneaky good attacking positioning. He knows when to make runs into the box. We saw it in the World Cup, that late run he made on Kyle Walker to get ahead of him. He is just very good. And he's on the ball now.
I mean, that World Cup he had was a brilliant World Cup. I think he was up there for the Golden Boot. He was that good in it. And I guess when you've been around the blocks, he's been at Wolfsburg, Dortmund, obviously Inter, Bayern.
Coming up back to back winning seasons as well, if I'm right in saying, with Bayern and Inter.
I'd love to see Perisic back at Dortmund again. I actually do think as a backup option, he'd be very good. I don't think he would play as a backup because I think he's been to start for big teams, but I just feel like in the Bundesliga when he was there, he suited, especially Wolfsburg. You know, when he was in the team with De Bruyne, he played really well.
Even recently with Bayern, he was challenging Kingsley Coman. He would obviously last year with that Bayern team, they would rotate their wingers out so much, but he could have made a genuine claim to be starting every single game if it wasn't for the depth that Bayern had.
And that's the thing with Bayern. I guess when you look over history, when they've done the loan signings, it's incredible, isn't it? The players they brought in on loan: Coutinho, Perisic, Douglas Costa, and when you think about it, all three of them, maybe not Douglas Costa this season because he hasn't played much, but all three of them could have easily been snapped up permanently for how they played in the past.
he's one of them, Perisic, where for a couple of years now he's not been a consistent starter. He's always been in teams that either rotate him in and out like Bayern, and under Antonio Conte at Inter, they don't really play with wingers. They play with wing backs like Hakimi on one side and Kolarov and Ashley Young on the other. How did they win the league with that? Anyway, but like they don't play that. They play two up front. So I think if he is to move, I'd like him to get a consistent start before, because he's getting older, of course, but I think he is probably maybe in the prime, if not ever so slightly just past. But I think he's got a good couple of years left in him easily.
Oh, definitely. I'm trying to look as well. I'm trying to find out what happened to Mislav Orsic, because again, he's another one on the left-hand side where I think in the future, when Perisic does inevitably retire, which will be, I think, probably after the World Cup next year, he's going to be the perfect fit to take his place. And I'm trying to find out whether he's injured or not, but I literally cannot find anything about him. But obviously, to not make it on the bench as well is quite surprising for a man that seems to score about 20 goals a season. And we saw when he played Tottenham, and Adam watched that game when he scored the hat-trick. He's a bloody good player to have off the bench.
Yeah, he's a danger. He's going to be like Marcus Rashford for us. I feel like Marcus Rashford, the only thing with Marcus Rashford is I think he needs to clean up his finishing a little bit. I think everything about his game is fantastic, and then he'll have a sitter and he'll miss it, and you're a bit like, what happened? But I think another one, Josh, is that left back where you said Borna Barisic. They've also got Bradaric, who plays for Lille, and they've decided to go with Gvardiol. It's an interesting decision.
It's a big shout, isn't it, to for a player who's not had many caps for Croatia, 19 years of age as well. It's a big call to play him, but I guess having a good season on loan, big call to make. But I'd say he's done all right so far. I think England have quieted down in the last 10 or so minutes. They've not really had many attacks, and it has been most of Croatia. I think that's out of play for a goal kick.
But that long ball up to Phil Foden, from even Pickford or either Kyle Walker or Stones, has proved very valuable. Foden, with that first touch we just saw repeated a couple of times there, he's got to be the star man for England this tournament. If there's going to be one player that you'd expect, it's either going to be Harry Kane, because, well, he's Harry Kane, he's one of the world's best strikers, or it'll be Phil Foden. And it's a shame he plays for Manchester City, because it's City and they've got Thinger. He's like their only proper player. And it's such a shame because, like, imagine if he played in a side where he could not get more respect, because I know he's respected, but people look at City and go, they've just paid for it. But Foden is that one outlier in the side, and he's practically one of the best players they've got as well. And,
to be fair, they did have it with Sancho. If Sancho didn't move to Dortmund, they would have had him as well. But
it's meant.
Go on.
Now, say you look at, there was an under-15s game where it was Chelsea versus Manchester City, and it was like Foden, Sancho, and Tosin, and then on Chelsea it was like Mount, James. Like the level of talent that both Chelsea and Manchester City have had that are now playing for England is on another level, apart from Tosin.
Well, it's Tosin in it, but I will say as well, that ball in behind, I think, is where we've been most successful. And we saw Sterling earlier in the game when he gets put in behind on the left-hand side. And the Ice Cream Man is back. It is exciting.
He's leaving.
Quickly, get your Cornetto. You've got a few seconds before he goes.
Genuinely, I did grab my wallet. I considered going to get a screwball, but I didn't have my key, so I wouldn't have been able to unlock the door.
Oh, unlucky.
It's just been embarrassing. I had an ice cream the other day. Nothing beats it. On a hot day, from an ice cream van as well. That'd be a cushy job, you know. If if journalism doesn't work out, I'd just become an ice cream man.
Then again,
I mean, you are relying on hot, warm days.
Yeah, you are basically unemployed for half a year, or maybe actually 11 months of a year. Come to think of it, in England,
I'll move to Spain or something then, where it's hot all year round.
Yeah, I think you'd be all right then.
You'd be much
also,
better.
whenever you've been abroad, I've never gone to Spain and seen an ice cream van. It's a very English thing, I feel like.
Is it because you're not actively looking for it though, and you just see it and then
fair point.
It's not different. So why would you think you like? I don't know.
Schrodinger's cat?
What?
Is it like Schrodinger's cat? Like, well, if you don't see what happened to it, it's dead and alive?
No, I mean in terms of you'll have seen it, but because your mind knows ice cream vans exist, it's like, oh, it's just an ice cream van. Everyone has an ice cream. Like, do you know what I mean? Now you know.
You're not figuratively looking for an ice cream van. You don't go to spin and go, right, I need to find where the nearest ice cream van is. It's just it's naturally there, isn't it?
Yeah, like some people want to go to different McDonald's to see how McDonald's tastes in different countries. No one goes, I wonder what the ice cream van tastes like.
Maybe that's something for you, Rowan. You know how we get people who go to all the Wetherspoons in the world? Why don't you do all the ice cream vans in the world?
But the thing is, I couldn't imagine going to Japan and going and finding an ice cream van. I feel like it's a very
feel like I've
thing.
dressed up like an ice cream man today. You know, you like the little bow ties on, yeah. I mean, it's bad, isn't it? We're having to talk about ice cream vans because this game has just flattened out in the last 10 or so minutes. I'm getting bad Belgium v Russia flashbacks here.
We are not a fun team to watch at times. We're really not.
And it's painful when you think of the amount of brilliant attacking players we've got, but we're still not doing anything with it.
No, I was about to say there's that ball in behind, but it was offside, so it doesn't even matter.
I mean, I'm looking at the stats of the game. 59% possession for England, 41% for Croatia. 2 shots on target in the whole match, 5 shots in the whole game. And 2 of them were in the first 5 minutes. So you can kind of tell how this game's just sauntered out a little bit. And I don't know whether it's because Jermaine Genius is on commentary and maybe the players have heard him and they just can't be bothered or not. But it's not a great game so far. I'll tell you something. I don't know why Gareth Southgate thought he could turn up in a suit and tie today. It's 28 fucking degrees at Wembley.
Well, to be fair, he's wearing a blazer, the Croatian manager. Don't know how he's wearing a blazer.
He'll be used to it, though, with the warm weather in Croatia.
But both managers have gone for a thing, because Southgate's gone for a white shirt and a tie. Like, the tie will contain the shirt and the heat, and you can see it's wet. The Croatian manager has gone for a blazer, but then he's gone for a white T-shirt. They've both gone for bold outfits where if you're going to start sweating, you're going to see all of it.
But I've also heard it only comes home if Gareth wears a waistcoat, and he's not wearing a waistcoat anymore. So it's not even...
It's awful.
Yeah. Everything that made it amazing in 2018 he's ditched. Can't believe it. Good touch, though. That's Kyle Walker.
Got no one there to play into. I mean,
do you think we'll get a Trippier moment?
What, in today's game or throughout the whole tournament?
Throughout the whole, not even Trippier. Do we just think we'll have that one glorious moment from one player where you go, that when, do you know when people go, life peaked at Trippier's free kick?
The thing is,
the problem with that is you would have to rely on a hefty run to get that type of moment. Or it goes down to the last group stage game needed and win, and we get one in the last minute. Then that is when we'll get that type of England moment.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like during 2018, as much as it was Trippier, there was moments in that tournament, though, that were special, like Harry Kane's late winner against Tunisia. It was the winning on penalties against Colombia.
Eric Dyer.
It felt special in 2018. I'm not sure I've got the same vibe about this team, but I'm hoping they can prove me wrong.
I think the hype for Euros isn't as big as... I feel like World Cup is a World Cup. It really is the best of the best.
Disagree this year. Because of the fact that we had an extra year to wear. I was saying this before. I think that this is the most hyped tournament there's ever been. Not for England, but for the whole of the world, because it's something that I think everybody needs, you know, with the year that we've had. As Sterling's got a chance to go through Angolia, takes an absolutely fucking shite touch, calling for handball, and it was a handball, of course, I think, which he's given. And it's going to be a free kick and a yellow card. And I actually thought at first,
fucking points.
Sterling had got a touch on the ball with a hand, but we'll see it back again here.
Yeah,
it was a handball in the end from Chileka.
Trippier moment. You just called it, Rowan. Here we go. Free kick.
Here we go.
Here we go.
It's going to be Calvin Phillips.
4 minutes left before the end of the first half.
Calvin Phillips. It's either going to be Trippier.
Could even put maybe Mason Mount over this. I mean, there's about 5 players stood over it.
I think it'll be... Who's over it? We've got Kane.
Mount.
Kane's leaving now. Trippier, Mount. I think it'll be Trippier. After what he did last year, you've got to let him take the first one.
Sterling's still standing there wishing he could take it, but they've just kind of pushed him away. Fuck off, Sterling. You're not taking it.
I mean, Croatia have got a great keeper in Livkovic. There's a reason why so many clubs wanted him.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He will not be in Croatia for much longer.
No. He was like, he's going to be the goalkeeper for the next. It's like they've talked about Turkey. Like Sionchu and Demiral are going to be the partnership for like the next 5-10 years. It's Livakovic. He ain't going to get replaced. But Subasic was a good keeper as well, and obviously he was brilliant.
Croatia have always had good keepers. I mean, Subasic, you think about how long he played for in that Croatian team. I think he was there for donkey's years.
10 plus years.
And even like 35, he was still banging it up.
Come on.
Imagine.
Are we going to get the Trippier moment? Trippier takes
right.
Perisic on the head, and he shakes. He celebrates at the fact he nearly got knocked out with the ball, but good bit of defending in the end.
Raheem.
And ball on Raheem.
Right, and this isn't it, this Raheem. Raheem Sterling's height really doesn't help him because of the way his body is framed. When the ball bounces, it's going to instinctively always go to his hand. And I know that sounds such a stupid thing, but he's like, he's small, but he's not like, I feel like his arms are always in a perfect height for the ball to bounce and hit him.
Yeah, because
that's just his movement.
That's because he runs like a T-Rex. That's why he always hits his hand, because he runs like that. No one else.
He has got a very, what's the word? A very unique run, hasn't he? Yeah, a very unorthodox run. Like, there's not many players that run like that. You know, if you run with your arms out, it's all right. You've got less chance. But when you're running like that, no wonder why the ball's going to hit your hand 9 times out of 10.
He's one of them where, like, obviously, if you put most players and all you ever saw was their run animation, you won't be able to tell most of them apart. Like Haaland, you'd be able to tell because he runs like a robot, obviously. And then you'd be able to tell T-Rex arms as well. Not Pickford this time, Sterling.
He's had a really easy 45 minutes, hasn't he, Pickford? I'm going to say that and there'll be a shot here. But he's had absolutely nothing to do.
He made that save when they were offside, when I got happy for him because he made a save. And that was it.
Here we go. This will be the shot. Take it on. Might be a chance here for Perisic.
Well done, Ming.
Going to be a free kick in the end.
We always back him.
I think, first half, I've got to admit, the picking of Sterling, apart from getting him behind, which is obviously, maybe that's the tactic from Southgate, is Grealish, I prefer him in front of the back four on the ball, picking it up, whereas he wants people who are running behind, and that's what Foden and Sterling created. But I don't think Sterling's been good enough in this first half. I do think he's created a lot of chances by running him behind, but that's about it.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sterling come off at half-time. I really wouldn't. I don't think he's done enough that can sort of validate him staying on the pitch.
I'd have said give it till the hour mark.
Yeah, because he is causing problems when he runs in behind.
He's going to score it now.
Foden can get a touch.
Which, if we are running in behind, surely that's where Rashford will come into play later in the game as well. Clearly, this is the weakness I think Southgate spotted as we get no added time because it was a dead first half.
And that is half-time, 0-0 in the game between England and Croatia. No sweat marks on the back of Southgate yet. I'm quite surprised by how warm it is, but not really much going on in the game. First 5 to 10 minutes was a really good start. Had 2 decent opportunities. Big effort from Phil Foden from just inside of the box, which hit the post. Calvin Phillips with a volley from outside the box that was straight down the middle, which Livakovic was able to save. Apart from that, Croatia, I can't actually remember the one shot on target that they had, if I'm being honest with you. Not really had many opportunities in the game. And it's been a fairly quiet first half. And I have to say, if you're a Scotland or a Czech fan, a 0-0 draw could be the perfect result for the way that this group opens up, because obviously tomorrow on Monday, Scotland face Czech Republic in the other Group D game. If both these teams were to draw and drop 2 points, it could make this group very interesting going into the last 2 games.
And also, none of these teams have played well enough for them to be feared either. I feel like if you're Scotland and Czech Republic, like we saw on the opening night, I bet Italy's group, Switzerland and Wales, were going, Jesus, I don't want to come up against them. Whereas I feel Scotland and Czech Republic are going, yeah, I think we can do all right against them. Because no one's threatening. And, like, we've had moments, very fleeting. But over the whole half, I think it just was very mellow and tame, would be my description.
I think Foden...
I'd say so. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think Foden looks the most exciting player on the pitch. If we're going to pick one who has probably done the most in this game, trying to create something. Harry Kane has been in around there. But again, I think if you're an England fan, if like compared to two fans, I think England fans will be way more happy. I don't think Croatia have created much really at all. That not last minute, end of the game, that chance where we drifted off to the left, but not where Mings made the tackle. But nothing really has come through for Croatia yet. But we've said that the World Cup and then the beat us in extra time. So yeah, it all could go wrong.
It could. I mean, there's a long way to go in this match, and there's a long way to go in this whole tournament. Still got another 2 games to come. And talk about 2 games to come. We've still got games to come today. As you can see, we've got more matches to come this afternoon on the Sports Corner and for the rest of the day. Of course, got the second half of England-Croatia coming up in about 15 minutes' time. And then at 5 p.m, myself and KL will be back. Austria taking on North Macedonia. What a game that should be. Should be a cracker.
Oh, it should. I can't wait to see... Austria v North Macedonia, because have we established yesterday there is now a Sports Corner rivalry because I want Austria to win.
And I want North Macedonia to win.
Yeah. So
it's going to be a good rivalry.
We should probably put Rowan in between us so we can't get at each other during this game.
Who are you backing, Rowan, if you had to pick one?
It's Goran Pandev FC versus Kalajic.
Stefan Leiner. Don't you?
So it's Liner versus Pandev. Well, I know I'm choosing over Liner over Pandev. I think it's all about Goran Pandev, isn't it?
Yes, that's what we want. It should be a good game.
Josh, I can do Netherlands. I can do Netherlands Ukraine.
If you want to do Netherlands Ukraine, you are more than welcome.
Yeah, go on.
I have got everything set up for it already, so I can send you everything over. But there we go.
Go on.
3 games then. Netherlands Ukraine is going to get covered today at 8 o'clock.
Do you know yesterday, Josh? Like we were talking, and we talked about teams playing with no fear. I'm actually nervous about North Macedonia. I never thought I'd say this in my life. I am so. Underdogs can cause problems.
Finland, first time in the Euros.
They beat Germany in Germany for the qualifiers for the World Cup. I think they're one of those teams like Finland, and obviously yesterday was a very different situation, but they are a team that will play with no fear because it doesn't matter where they finish. If they finish bottom of the group, then it doesn't matter. I genuinely think they could finish 3rd and maybe even have a chance of making it out of the group. I really do think they could give Austria and Ukraine a very good run for the money. Yeah. Netherlands is a very tough ask, but I think they've got good enough players in the side because when you look at other teams in international level, I'm trying to think of other teams left in this tournament. For example, Hungary, I think it's a great example. Yeah, I actually think North Macedonia have got more players playing at a higher level than Hungary probably do.
Yeah, you're probably right. But then Hungary, we saw what they did at the last game. And Josh, you say they beat Germany, but even Ireland beat Germany. We know how bad Ireland are, so I don't really take much.
That's true, but was that in a competitive game, or was that friendly?
Shane Long, when he got whipped in behind and they qualified for last Euros.
I'll let him off. But still, to beat Germany is a good achievement within itself. I mean, that should be a good game. 5 o'clock, that one. We'll go live about 5 or so minutes beforehand. We'll go through the lineups and everything. It gives me a bit of time to quickly rush and get them sorted. And then, as we've said, Rowan will now be covering tonight's game. So all 3 of them are being covered. Netherlands against Ukraine. I mean, that for me, again, is probably one of the pick of the bunch games of the group stages. Ukraine in very good form, beat France quite recently in the qualifiers. I've got a brilliant manager in Shevchenko, of course, Ukrainian former player himself. And then there's a manager who I'm not really going to say anything else about for Netherlands. Do you think maybe there's a chance that Ukraine can... I'd say it's still a shock because they are a big team, Netherlands. But is there a chance that Ukraine can beat them?
Yeah, I think overall this might be the hardest group to predict, apart from the group of death. But that's because of the top 2. Like in terms of it's like genuinely because of Frank de Boer. Genuinely, that's the only reason. But I like Ukraine. I think they've got some talented players, and as you said, under Shevchenko, they're a much better team, and they could be a lot of people's dark horses. Don't see why they can't win. Maybe even top the group.
Yeah, I think they've got some very good players. They've got Malinovsky, they've got Yaremchuk from Ghent, who had a brilliant season in Belgium. They've got a whole host of the players, Piatov, Stepanenko, I think, just to name a few of the players that have got a lot of experience. That's at 8 o'clock tonight. Rowan's going to cover that game, so you're going to get to see all of us twice over, which is very, very nice indeed. And then a look at the rest of the week, of course. We've got Austria North Macedonia will be live about 5 minutes before kickoff for that game. So come and join us for that. Should be a very interesting match to watch. Very unexpected game to know what's going to happen. Monday, we've got Scotland against Czech Republic. KD's going to be live with that one at 5-2. Should be a very interesting game indeed. And then Monday night, we'll go through the rest of the games on Monday, and I'll be covering Spain against Sweden. Should be a brilliant match, that one. That's at 10-8. And then on Tuesday, Hungary up against Portugal. I've got a repeat of the Euro 2016 Classic, hopefully. That's from 10-5. And then after that, it's the big one, France versus Germany to end match day 1. You can join KD at 10-8 for that one. Should be a belter of a game in Group F.
I'm jealous.
So that, of course, is the game going on there in that group with Group F. Very quickly, if you do want to, of course, check out our social media, which I think is highly worth recommending to check out if you want to see the lineups and when we do go live on the channel. Links are in the description as always. Kyle, as very kindly as he always does, the legend, has put the links in the chat as well. Our Twitter is at @the_top corner, and our Instagram, which we're using a little bit more now, @the_sports corner_. You can go and check those out. You can see the lineups and when we go live on the channel as well. As Kyle's put, first Josh, now Kale. You guys are breaking the Irish heart with your mean comments about the Republic of Ireland. I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm sorry. But you started it at the beginning of the day, so you can let us off in that respect.
To be fair, usually it's Tubbs that I usually go at, so I've had to go with someone else. So I apologise, Kyle. Just the easiest.
Yeah, we haven't had Tubbs here for a few days now.
Yeah, sorry.
I can't diss Ireland.
Chris has put in the chat. We started well. Foden unlucky with his chance. Why is Sterling scared to shoot when in good positions? We had warning signs, but we're the better team. Come on, 3 lines in the second half. And I'll obviously we'll go through the benches and that in a second. But I wanted to ask you, Rowan, because of course I know you're going to be covering most of the Czech Republic games. You obviously, unfortunately, not going to be able to cover the first one because Kane did basically. But what do you think is going to happen with the Czech Republic match and how they're going to run in this tournament? Because I think the thing is with Group D, right, is they are getting no mentions from anyone as being a potential shout to make it out. And I think they've got good enough players in that squad to do so.
Yeah, I think, again, I think I've said on nearly every stream, you've got Suchek and Sufal, shining stars of the Premier League, but you've got, I feel like they've got the structure of a team that can go under the radar. I've got them as my underdogs of the tournament, but let's say England beat Croatia today. If Czech Republic beat Croatia are out of the group more or less. Then you've got Czech Republic possibly going to second through. They'll have tough games, but they're a side that doesn't give up. I've watched quite a few of Slavia Prague's games in the Europa League, but also in their Czech league. There's not actually that many Czech league players, but that their style, they do not give up. I watched one of Slavia's final games against can't remember who it was. And there was a spell of nearly 25 minutes, like 20 minutes, where the ball barely went out of play. And it was just consistent sprinting, hunting for the ball, not giving up. And I think that never give up attitude, as John Cena said, could just make Czech Republic just go through this tournament. Like, wow, they've got through as third place, as highest third place points. Oh, they've got quite an easy draw. Oh, they've won that. Oh, they're in the quarterfinals. They've actually done a thing. I think up front having Matej Vidra isn't the best, but they've got talent. I know Jure Pavlenka has just dropped out due to an injury, so Gregor Kubek, the Augsburg keeper, is coming for him. But they've got a good team. If they can use that Czech mentality that I've seen in the league and adapt it to the national team football, they could make a sneaky run.
And I guess as well, and it'd be someone that I picked out for the one to watch in the Scotland game. Hlozek, the young striker that they've got from Sparta Prague. He's another one that could maybe make a difference in that. But I guess Scotland as well. Scotland have got a lot to play for. Depending on what happens in this game, if it does finish with a draw in the end, then maybe both Scotland and Czech Republic. Yeah. Well, they will be going into that match regardless, saying that is the one that they need to win because they're going to have 2 tough games afterwards. But let's have a look at the benches because we will get back into the game very shortly. I think we're about 2 or 3 minutes away from kickoff at half time. Any players on the bench that you guys would want to bring on after 10 or 15 minutes that you think could make the difference in this game?
Jack Grealish, I think, is my first choice. I just think he was the one that I always thought when he got on the ball, defenders got a little bit on edge because they knew. Look how many penalties I say how many. We played one friendly, but he won a penalty against Romania because he baits people into challenges. He gets the ball close enough so you think you're going to get it, and then knocks it away and earns fouls like that. And unfortunately, we've not looked like scoring from open play. So a play like Grealish causes all sorts of problems. Rashford, I'd like to see. I also would like to see Bukayo Saka. I think he's another player that this tournament, we talked about playing without fear with teams. I think he's played without fear his whole career. He's had to carry an Arsenal team at the age of like 18, 19. So I'm excited to see him. And of course, England's number 9. If we need to get balls into the box, it's got to be England. Because admittedly, against Romania, he was winning every header in the box. And if we have to resort to it late in the game, I back Calvert-Lewin to win an air battle against them 2 defenders.
I know it's obviously very hard because we've got so many good wingers and that, but I'm always surprised that we've never tried 2 up top with Kane and Calvert-Lewin, because it's a very weird one, because Calvert-Lewin's quite tall himself, so it's not a little and large pairing, but obviously Calvert-Lewin's got pace, and Kane, of course, we know him to play a little bit more deeper. For Tottenham, has played quite deep as well in this game today, but I actually do think playing those 2 up top would be quite good, and if it does get maybe to desperation levels later on in the tournament, maybe that's something that we do, and we maybe with 10 or 15 minutes left, we do bring on someone like DCL and we put him up top and we have them both together, because those types of players, when it comes to set pieces, which we're notoriously very good for, we have a lot of height in that box, and especially when Maguire comes back, hopefully soon, we'll have Maguire in there, who is arguably one of the best players I think we've got in the team when it comes to set pieces. We'll have so many players in the box that'll be dangerous that I really do think maybe DCL, I'd like to see a little bit more in this tournament. But Rowan, anybody you bring on in this game? I know there's a certain someone on the bottom.
There's obviously a certain man, but obviously with the 2 CDM positions, he can't play there. Again, Jack Grealish, Rashford, I think are the 2 obvious going forward. I think Jordan Henderson because Calvin Phillips has worked his socks off today. The same with Declan Rice, so maybe, I don't know if Henderson's really fully fit. I know he played a couple of minutes, didn't he? But I think maybe Henderson on just to calm things at a point and sort of keep Rice and Phillips fixed. I think I'd be fine if we played this team and going forward with just Henderson, Pickford, and then even Walker, Stones, Maguire when he's fit, Chilwell when he's fit, and then having Phillips and Rice there, I would be fine with that. Or even Henderson, but I think Phillips and Rice had a great start. DCL is another shout going forward, but you've got Kane there, as you said, could go 2 up front, but don't really see it happening. But yeah, I'd like to see Saka as well, because Saka's an electric player. But Jude Bellingham is obviously my number 1. But no, I think luckily we've got a decent depth where we can say, oh, well, we can bring on Rashford for Sterling and we're not losing anything. Then the only position where you could say we are really losing something is maybe midfield, because just the way Phillips and Rice are playing right now with Henderson. But apart from that, I think it's plain sailing, hopefully, for us.
Yeah, I think one of these 2 teams is going to have to gamble at some point. Neither of these 2 teams are going to sit back and defend for the rest of the game, because there's a lot on the line here, as we've said before many a times when, we did the game yesterday with me and Kyle. We said that game between Wales and Switzerland was a must-win, and neither team realistically wanted to go out there and drop any points in that match, which they both did. And now, when you look at that group, it is completely wide open to potentially other teams like Turkey, for example, getting themselves back in there. But when you also look at the group itself, I really do think that game against Scotland, if we do draw, could be a huge game. Because Scotland, as you said, Kyle, earlier on, they'll look at us right now and they will not fear us whatsoever with how we've started this game. I don't think any team would fear us with how we started, and neither would they fear Croatia, because they've been fairly quiet. But that game against Scotland, with it being a derby, with it being played at Wembley, it could be a huge game. And, of course, we've still got to take into account the fact we could lose this game, potentially, as we very nearly conceded a goal.
Yeah, I was going to say, just let me know what seconds you're on so we can sync up again.
I am at 45 and I'm about to hit 40 now. 45, 41, 42.
Right.
3.
When it hits 46 minutes, let me know.
Alrighty. So,
I got around, Josh. You were saying you're on 45. I was like, how are you on 45 seconds already?
Miles ahead.
I'm going to let you say
3, 2, 1, 46. There we go.
There we go. We should be close now.
Yeah.
Should be as synced up as we possibly can. The Croatia team, seeing who they could maybe bring on. Of course, no teams have taken any players off, as you would expect. You can see, I would have probably said they need. You're not going to take anybody off in the midfield yet. So players like Vlasic, for example, the only way they're coming on is if you put them on the wing. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 15 or 20 minutes, if nothing changes, they bring on someone like a Budimir or a Petkovic up top and try and change it, because we saw yesterday that substitutions in the attacking half were so key for Switzerland when Gavranovic came on and pretty much could have had a hat-trick in the space of 5 minutes off the bench. And I wonder if maybe Croatia will look at that themselves and think, well, let's make a change, because we haven't seen much of Kramaric so far. He's been very, very quiet.
Yeah, he's been a bystander in that first half, really. He's not really got on the ball. Then again, in terms of the attacking areas, none of the players have really had any sort of influence on the game. So maybe he brings on Brekalo at some point, because Rebic on the wing, not that he looks lost, but he just doesn't look like he's getting involved as much as he would if he was up top. So maybe you bring on Brekalo and somebody like that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I agree. We will have to see what happens. First 10 or 15 minutes should hopefully be a good opportunity for these two sides to come out, because we've had a really bad tendency so far in this tournament to have very good either first halves or second halves, and then the opposite half is bad. But what's going on here? I've completely missed
that. Was a tasty tackle from Mateo Kovacic on his teammate as well. That's going to get brought up in pre-season.
Crunching challenge as well.
Was Belgium the only game that had a goal in the first half this tournament?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was thinking, does anyone ever fancy scoring? If Belgium's the only team to score in the first half.
I was really worried as this tournament was going on that it was going to be the role reversal of the World Cup, and rather than it being every game having goals, every game just doesn't have goals, and there's just a very minimal amount of goals. And I guess, of course, a lot of these players have been playing club football, and they'll be a little bit more tired than usual. But I'd say it's been a fairly all right start to the tournament. We're just waiting for that real firecracker of a game to come our way, because, as I said earlier, we've had big victories for Belgium and Italy, but we haven't had that one game yet where we've gone, that's a game we'll remember for a good few years to come.
No, as we finally see Kramaric for the first time getting involved, and he was causing all sorts of problems for Stones and Mings there.
Nice little running behind as well. I mean, worked well for Croatia getting a throw in deep into England's half.
See if we can make anything of it here, because I guess we, very similar to that Wales-Switzerland game as we keep mentioning, if they can get a goal here early on, it will set the tone for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
And again, it's another game where I really do think we need one and quick, and there might be an opportunity. A ball lobbed into the box and it comes nowhere near towards Rebic, and again, another chance for Croatia that is not used. And you can see how deep England are right now, because Kane was, and pretty much every player in their own half.
Yeah. I mean, Croatia forced goal all the way back to Livkovic. Oof!
Shocking header. Jesus Christ.
Oof. Heart and mouth there. Trippier tries to head it back to Pickford. Pickford has to be quick off his mark there. Pickford, thank God he gets there.
Good positioning from Pickford, to be fair, to be in a position where he could get to the ball first. As much as, a lot is made of his kind of sometimes lack of concentration. I feel that was always the problem with Joe Hart as well. He had moments where it just seemed like his head wasn't there and didn't make saves he should make. So hopefully we don't get that from Pickford, because he was heroic in 2018. He really was. And people seem to kind of completely forgot it. But we do have good backups in Johnston and Henderson.
Yeah, I think he had a really good end to the season as well. I think take out that game against City where they got spanked up, and I think even then he made a good, fair few saves. I think Pickford's had a very good end to the season.
I think
you probably go on. Sorry,
I'm saying I think his position we're quite blessed in terms of I don't think we have that star goalkeeper like a lot of other countries do, but we have just got three well-rounded, decent goalkeepers that I think all could slot in and not feel. They could all make really good saves and be a solid keeper for us.
But
think
what I would say
Go
is
on.
at the same time is that I would then say if you go and look at Germany's keepers, Portugal's keepers, France keepers, I think we'd take any of the backup ones any day over the rest of them. You know, when you look at Portugal, you've got Lopez, you've got Rui Patricio. You'd take one of those two, definitely. France, you've got Maignan, you've got Lloris, Mandanda. I think most of those you'd take. Maybe not Mandanda as such, but you'd definitely take Maignan and you'd definitely take Lloris, although he's a bit error-prone. Germany, you take any of the keepers, Neuer, Ter Stegen, Leno. They've got probably the best goalkeeper depth in world football.
Yeah.
Trapp, obviously, is there as well. I think you'd even take like some of the players who, and not being shouldn't out, but like Ralph Farman, for example, who could have very easily at one point in, well, he did go to the World Cup, didn't he? Whenever they won it, 2014.
2014, yeah.
But
like, Farman.
You look at Italy, I'd take Sirigu over any of the keepers any day of the week.
I was going to say, when you say like we've got three keepers, the problem is with our keepers, I feel like even if we just had one, I'd rather have a star like Belgium. We've got Courtois, who's just unbelievable. Like, not that I don't trust Pickford, I do. I think we could win a tournament with Pickford. But it's a position where I think we are lacking a real number one, a true number one. And if you're constantly rotating keepers, that's got to be awkward for a back four as well, or a back five, because you don't know who's behind you, and you don't know if you can trust them. That's one of the problems as well. And
there'll always be a bit of doubt in the head with whoever's in goal, whether it be Pickford, Henderson, Johnston. There'll always be doubt there, as Kane might go for a long-range effort. No, he doesn't. Tries to play Sterling in, and it doesn't come to anything in the end.
If you're Kane, just have a dig. Just have an absolute dig. You've opened yourself up well. Have the chance. There's nothing to lose. We're only 7 minutes into the second half.
I just don't think our attacks clicked in the first, apart from the opening couple of minutes. I just feel we've all been a little bit offbeat, and I think not changes just yet. I think you give it maybe another 10, but then we might have to look at the bench, I think. Because you've got 5 subs as well, so you can basically change half a team at this point.
Yeah, I feel like we're not a front three. I feel like we're a front one, like 1-1-1. Like Foden is doing his own game, Kane's doing his own game, Sterling's doing his own game. As you said, they're not linking up together, and so like that Sterling run, he ran into 2 players. Either don't make the run and then basically force a player of Hurricane stature can have a shot from there and put it in the back of the net easily.
I just think it's, again, a very pedestrian start. No team's really taken a real foothold of the second half yet, and it's not what you want to see, is it? Even as a Croatia fan, I think both teams right now be very frustrated how they've started this second half.
I think Croatia have driven with more intensity than England. When they go on the ball, there is a pace to their attack that we don't have.
And to be fair, they picked it up on the edge. It's Kramaric. He's looked for a shot like Kane did. He's give it to Modric, who will strike at goal. And it's a settling shot for Pickford at the moment. But it's what a difference is. You talked Kane to shoot earlier. Modric wasn't afraid to have a dig. And we know he can hit some beauties, can Modric.
Yeah, he's always, every single tournament, you get a Modric classic. Whether it's a volley from outside the box at the World Cup or he's hitting one from about 40 yards. I think every single time there's been a goal of the tournament, his name's on that list.
You also see it in the Champions League as well. I remember they were 3-0 down to Shakhtar in that game. And he hit a worldie in off the post. And they still lost the game. But he's always up there for goal of the tournament, as you say.
He's one of the world's best midfielders. Right? Maybe not. Well, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
People were fuming when he won the Ballon d'Or. I think he was right to win it. He was a Champions League winner. Croatia to the semi-final. I think he was right to win it that year. I know. It's like this year, everyone's saying, what do you think? Kante, Lewandowski? Ronaldo or Messi, which you'll probably what it'll be. So, why?
Got to be Lewandowski for me.
Lewandowski. Breaking Gerd Muller's record is something you're not going to see often. Well, you're not going to.
Wait on me. I'm going to wait for this tournament. Just because we were talking during half-time. I feel Sweden, Spain, Slovakia and Poland, that group has been not mentioned once by anybody. And Poland will fancy themselves to get out of that group. And if Lewandowski leads that team, because he's unbelievable, we know that.
I think the one thing that will help Kante, sort of, if he does go Ballon d'Or, the champions won the Champions League. Obviously, didn't win the league, and Lewandowski did, but Kante has got a better side around him. That if France did go on to win the Euros, play through Calvin Phillips.
Oh God, Sterling!
Play made.
Yes! Come on!
Yes! Come on!
Here we go.
We knew we were going to score as well.
We said he'd score. We said he'd score. And I tell you what.
It's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming. I wish. Fucking hell.
That is brilliant from Calvin Phillips, driving from deep as well.
Yeah.
We say we play with two older midfielders, but Calvin Phillips there, and that place is absolutely rocking. You love to see it.
Well, Rowan, you got what you wanted. The shirts are coming off, but just not for the, not for the players.
And I needed a Mason Mount goal, but I love the way it's the man we said probably hasn't been the best form recently. You said he's gone, he did, and again, it's been the most energetic player, but Calvin Phillips, he's getting so much praise online, and he's just proven that. Sterling, lovely running side in between the two defenders. Livkovic, can he do really any better?
No, I don't think.
No, it comes off his hand, but
I think for me,
actually the timing of the slide tackle. If you look at the timing of literally as the slide tackle's gone in, the shot is literally at the same time, which might have not helped Livkovic.
Does
Get that fucking waistcoat on.
Does that come off? I thought that replay of the show there looked like it came off the Schalke. If it was the Schalke ran across,
it was Gavardio.
It looked like it came off him rather than Sterling.
Either way, I've got to give all the credit to
Calvin. England have scored. We're winning.
To Calvin Phillips. Fair play to Calvin Phillips. That was all him. I know Sterling finished it, but I've had just had some Wi-Fi problems, so just letting you know, I'm at 58 minutes now.
We'll let you know when we've hit 58.
I told you, don't trust Virgin Wi-Fi. It's awful. It's absolutely horrific.
57, 58, 59, 58.
Boosh.
The only time you've ever gone 58, 59, 58 in a kind of...
I mean, Chris has said Sterling shot still straight at the keeper, but we take it. It doesn't matter how it's scored, whether it's 50 yards out or it's come off his fucking arse. We'll take it. It doesn't matter how it goes in. A goal's a goal.
We are winning.
We needed that for the game because, let's be honest, this game has been fucking crap. It has been a bad game. But until we got that goal, it's just livened it up a bit.
It was Mason Mount who made like the most darting run. He just like gained speed, like Sonic. He just did like the Sonic roll and just got a bunch of speed and made a lovely run. Didn't get played to him, but nice little run from Mount.
I hope we can do what we said yesterday, Josh. You know, like Switzerland when they got that goal. Now add to it. Take this momentum with you. Don't sit back and be happy with 1-0, which I don't think.
Because the problem is we saw exactly what Wales did yesterday. Yeah. They had nothing in the game, and they still got themselves back into it. Even they said it felt like a win in the dressing room because they stole the 2 points away from Switzerland.
Yeah, it was one of them where one team will look at it as a point gained and the other will look at it as 2 points lost. And we don't want to get into that pattern of, not that happened in the World Cup, but when we went 1-0 up, maybe you don't want to take your foot off the gas at all. And we saw that they can turn games around. So I'd like to see us add to the pressure that we already put on and kind of do what we did in the opening 15 minutes, which we didn't see for about 40 minutes in the middle.
Yeah. Just use this momentum now and go forward, put the pressure on Croatia. Because if we get second, Croatia will have to go at it, and we can really take the game to them.
And this is the thing as well. We've said it a few times now that this Croatian team does not look the same team that it did at the Euros. And look, it's only game one. It's early days. They could come to life for the second game. The amount of times England have done it in the past when they've lost the first match and come to life, it's very typical for us to do that. But I do think that this is a game we have to take. They are for the taking right now. Any other day, this Croatian team would have probably played so much better. But if we can get a second goal, try and kill this game off. Yeah. Then we'll be in a much better position. We'll have 3 points on the board. It'll be the first time we've ever won a match in the European Championships. We might have a chance for a second here because ball's lofted towards Kane! Nice you fucker. How has he missed that?
Ooh.
And he's injured himself. So that means he'll be out for 4 months.
Is it ribs on the post?
I think so. And that was a lovely ball. And that is what Mount brings. That's what Mount brings. He brings that creativity and flair. And, well, we asked a few years ago, why did Kane not play it to Sterling? Mount played it to Kane there and he's missed. And it's a good tackle in the end. It's actually a very good tackle that puts him off, I think.
Was it Coletta Carr on the recovery there?
Yeah.
So that was lovely.
Is he all right?
I think he's broken a rib here. Because he went into that post heavy.
DCL, I think, looked like he was about to take his
my God. Have we finally got England's number 9? Oh, I don't even want to see it because I'm sad about Harry Kane, but he's a good... No, Calvert-Lewin is a good backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very good backup to have. Because the thing is, he brings a little bit different, doesn't he? He's got that extra bit of pace. He brings something different to the table that I think this England side does need at times. But Calvin Phillips for me, and Chris has said it as well, I do think Calvin Phillips will be up there if we do win the man of the match. He's been absolutely brilliant. And I remember it was about a year ago when we sat there and we had the debate on whether Calvin Phillips should go to the Euros or not. And from that point, obviously, UKL, you said he shouldn't have gone. But the way he's progressed as a player in the last year is outstanding, isn't it?
The thing was, at that time, obviously, Leeds hadn't have been in the Premier League at this point. They were still in the Championship. And I know how reluctant they are to take Championship players. Yeah. We never take a player from the Championship. Hence why I never thought he'd go. But since he stepped up to the Premier League, and I hate Leeds United. I despise them. But you've got to give credit where credit's due. Today, as I said earlier, that goal for me was all about his movement. And that's what created it. And I am sick to God of Richard Branson.
It's all good on our end, but I'm guessing it's booting you off on the iPlayer.
It's the only reason I'm still in this stream is because I'm using my data. That's the only reason I'm still here.
In fairness, my Wi-Fi last night, I completed the Europe League SBC, and I went to start opening all the packs, and then my internet just wouldn't let me connect. Phone is going to get a yellow card here. My internet just wouldn't let me connect to Xbox Live or any online service. I feel like internet's just been absolutely awful very recently for everyone.
Well, Carl's just put he's going to go. Might not be in for the Austria game, but we'll be there for the Netherlands game. So you'll have someone there for you, Rowan. Enjoy, good luck, and see you later. Thank you very much, Carl. Hopefully we'll see you later on tonight for the Netherlands. And take care, buddy. Take care. As Sasha's been in the building now, and Sasha, of course, Croatian fan as well. So unlucky for you right now. He's hoping that Croatia can bag in this game and get themselves back into it. But yeah, Foden got into the book, as you said, yellow card. Been a few feisty tackles, haven't they?
A little bit. I don't think it was on purpose. It was just a little stamp on Gabriel's foot there, who genuinely doesn't look 19. He looks like he's got a house and a mortgage. KD's in the building. He's put footballs coming home. Did the William Hill... Was there a mini earthquake in there when that goal went in? Because I'd assume anybody who was in there at that point will have heard the news and probably got the game on. But hope you're good, mate. Hope you're good. And what did Croatia do now? 25 minutes left. I think they'll probably expect to make a change or two soon, you'd feel. I said no changes yet.
Now I'd bring Nikola Vlasic on to change the game up with a bit more creativity. As there's a long-range effort taken on. It's going to come to the edge of the box. Rebic takes a really weak effort. Got to do so much better there. As Katie says, he's the only one cheering. Well, that's shocking. That's poor. I'd have expected more people to be cheering at William Hill because there'd be a few people's bets coming in. Poor effort that though from Rebic.
Yeah, just couldn't get the right connection. Really couldn't. And I think that was. If he takes a touch there, I know he wouldn't have been able to get the shot off, but maybe it's just a bit more taky time now for Croatia. One goal down. I mean, 25 minutes is 100% enough time. And we know they've got the quality to even go ahead and win this game. As for England, well won back there.
Oh, here we go. Mount going on the way. That's not going to be... Oh, no, he's going to be free kick. Yellow card coming out. Yeah, I tell you what, yellow cards are flying here in this game. That's now four in the match.
Is that 70 booking points?
Let's have a look, lads. Let's have a look. No, I don't want to deposit money. I don't know.
By the way,
4 more goals needed.
I'm gutted I didn't do that £10 bet on Sky Bet where you get £3 every time your player scores, because I had Romelu Lukaku as top scorer. The guy bagged 2 last night. Demon.
I went Benzema. So
I didn't do it in the end. I was going to go Immobile. It cost backed as well, so that's a shame.
I was going to wait until... the thing is now, I've got to wait until literally the final games to get my £3 free bets. Like, at least if you're Immobile, you know that, you could get your bets early for the rest of the games. I have to wait until like the final games.
This is Mount's moment, by the way.
Yeah,
we're not getting a Trippier moment, it's a Mount moment.
So, I like the setup.
Over the wall and in. Oh, Jesus.
It was close.
Good effort, good effort.
He goes keeper's side as well. It's always more difficult, but it was... I think Livakovic would have had it covered.
Yeah.
He definitely would have had it covered. Sasha's put wasted chance. I'm guessing right now, Sasha, you're not happy with how Croatia have played at Alders. My iPlayers decided to stop. We love to see that.
See, it's not your Brian. It's Richard Branson, man. I'll tell you.
PlayStation, that's completely stopped.
I was saying to Josh yesterday, I've never wanted Glide back in my life. Genuinely.
Well, the thing is, same, because I've noticed that stuff doesn't load
Oh, no,
up.
the stream has just crashed. Just saying coming up. Okay,
really?
Cheers.
My game's on.
Why didn't it say coming home instead? Coming home joke there for you.
Time, Kale, just can't watch a game.
Sorry, but we've not... I thought Martin nicked it back there.
Same.
Rashford stripped and ready to come on.
Yes. Love the England kit, by the way. The red, do you know the red training shirt? But is that the main? No, what am I today? How are you? Who else is
coming on?
Is that Budimir as well?
Not sure. I can't see. Number 7.
7. I think that's Budimir.
Number 7 is Brekalo.
What's my mum? My mum's giving me spoilers. Well, it's not because she sent it when England scored. She went, I think your stream's a little bit behind. You know, to celebrate when England score. Thanks. Watching on iPlayer, you're watching on terrestrial TV.
Sorry, it's on terrestrial TV.
What you call this? With the dish.
No, you are right. It's just
to be fair, I call it terrestrial TV.
But I don't think
you are right. It's just no one ever watches like TV. So we have to specify that we're talking terrestrial TV.
They get aerial out.
I mean, even KD said, give me some Glide Evernet.
Yeah, I miss it. I genuinely miss it. I mean, it won't be so bad when I get the TP. Oh, well, get DCL on it. Well, he's not going to come on.
Right. What time are you guys on? Because he's finally decided to come back.
Tell me what time you're on, and I'll go on. What time
69 or 7 or 8?
No, it's crashed again. It's all right. It's just BBC iPlayer being crap.
Modric will whip the corner in there.
From Brozovic there. He took it on the volley on the edge of the box and just passed. By the way, I'm about 3 seconds ahead of you, so I'll pause, Rowan.
Decent. I'll give you a countdown. 22, 23,
so where are you at?
24, 25, 26. This is 69.
Yeah, so
you're going to have to give me a minute here. This is miles behind.
Well, Brozovic is coming off, I'll let you know. And on comes Nikola Vlasic.
Probably one of the...
Pause it at 70 minutes bang on. You'll have to literally give me a minute because I'm at 69 minutes.
Nice.
It's gone back in time.
And Kramaric is coming off as well. I can't see who's coming on.
Brekalo.
Is it yours at Brekalo?
Yep.
Right. I'm at 70 now. I'm at 70 dead on.
Nice, right. You're going to have to wait 45 seconds.
Here we go.
Because this is miles.
What takes 45 seconds?
Talk amongst yourselves.
Taking the shot. Good effort.
Justin Brekalo still coming on there. Wolfsburg enjoying a very successful season. And, I mean, he didn't play much because you had... Shut up.
He's froze again. I hate it.
Oh my God.
Right. We're playing. Do you want to press play, Rowan?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, play. See,
Yeah.
Brekalo's coming on.
Foden's off for Rashford.
Wow. I don't know why I'm going wow, but I think if you're going to choose him or Sterling, I'd take off Sterling. Foden, even though I know Sterling scored. But...
Yeah, this is the thing, Sterling scored, which I don't think is fair.
No.
But I can't remember who said it the other day. It was Benzema. Said people just look at who scores and they give him man of the match. That's not the player I want to be. I want to play well and get man of the match, not scores a goal, gets man of the match.
Oh, we can see the hero, Jadon Sancho, there being absolutely robbed by Southgate. But look, he's still loyal. Not him, not the man not the white man.
Yeah,
That's Rooney. It's Rooney.
I was wondering who that was.
I thought it was a fact.
I'm back.
Oh, you back?
I'm seeing Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Hey, right. Just tell us
And
when
I'm
your
now off
time is.
Rooney.
Okay. We'll pause at 71.
Okay.
What seconds are you on? Because it sounds like I'm in sync.
7101, 7102, 7103.
Oh no, I'm 50 seconds ahead now.
Oh, what?
I'll pause at 71.
No.
We're on 71.
Oh well, I'm behind then.
How many seconds past 71 are you?
71, 9, 10, 11.
Right.
I'll stop on 30.
At this rate, I'm just going to get on terrestrial TV and I'll just.
No,
Backtrack.
don't spoilers.
Right,
Right,
I'm on 30.
Say that again.
I've stopped on 30.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Right.
We're here. Right.
Let's see if we make it through the last 20 minutes.
It's just the joys of live streaming, isn't it?
If not next time, I'll
joys of
point my camera at the
Team
game.
player. Sasha saying Croatia very poor. I wouldn't fucking know. I can't bloody see it.
Croatia, yeah, I mean,
Before it buffers.
I think if Croatia, good job Brozovic came off. I don't think really had the best of games.
I think
being realistic.
this is one of them where I really wish we were still at uni for, because we'd just all be in the same house and this would be so much simpler.
Oh, 100%. Well, when we make it to the final, we'll all meet up and watch it together. Because it's coming on.
Yeah, of course, it's coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe for the under 21s.
No, we were crap.
Yeah, we're crap. We didn't even fucking get out of the group.
Talk about crap. This might be a chance for Croatia.
Uh-huh.
Ball's lobbed in.
Oh,
Jesus!
It's a mistake at the back and
Confidence, lads.
Just talk to each other. I learned this.
no doubt Dean Anderson saying never in doubt there. That's risky. That's twice now in this game where we've nearly made mistakes, which could have easily led to something.
Just be a bit more commanding, Jordan.
You've got a loud voice. Just scream. Fairness, I haven't want to shout at Kyle Walker. He's a player that scares me.
Oh, I read.
Ooh. Cynical.
I think Kaleta's on a yellow, if I'm not. Oh no, did he? Yeah, he got a yellow for the handball.
Yeah, that'll be his
He's
last
on a yellow.
warning.
Definitely.
Get him off. It's like that the proper Yorkshire commentator. Have you seen her? Goes, get him off. Get that bloody bugger off. I'm on the only one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that many. I'll be honest with you, I'd love to be
It's the
involved. But
proper Yorkshire commentator. I think it's like over a Leeds game. It's like, get him off. Get that bloody sod off. Just me. Sorry, lads.
Is Trippier hitting this one from here, do you think? 50 yards out.
He's got the minerals.
It's actually saying England playing at home. It's not fair play. I guess there are 12 other nations playing at home.
It's
as
well.
There's a chance for Sterling and well. I think he must have seen Wayne Rooney in the crowd or something there because he's completely hit it probably.
Jaden, get changed.
I would actually probably take Sterling off and maybe bring Rashi on.
Rashi is already on, Josh.
Rush is on.
Well, see, this is the thing. I was so far behind, I couldn't even fucking know. I'd probably bring Saka on. If
I was going to say,
is he on as well?
He's not on yet. He's not on. You're so far behind. Sancho's still in Josh's squad at this point. He doesn't know the starting 11.
This is not what we want to see.
Ben White.
John Stones is down.
Or Connor Cody.
Which is a real worry because
he didn't look in too much pain.
I don't know.
Then again, we said Neymar was all right, and he nearly snapped his leg in half.
Then again, is it cramp? It looks a bit like cramp. The way, or is he?
Oh, what's that? What's that in like the black thing with the red lid? Ben White, there he is, warming up.
I think he'd be the one I'd replace with, because if you bring Cody on, I think Cody and Mings, not the fastest. They could probably get. I like Ben White. I think Ben White will be a good.
Hopefully, he's all right to continue on.
Replacement. And I'll tell you what, do you know we talked about picking Ben White? I bet Southgate's glad he did now, considering the fact that Stones has gone down.
Oh.
He looks okay. I'm not sure if it's cramped, though. I think it might just be cramped.
It'll probably cramp. I mean, good job, because obviously you don't really want to be using a change. Harry Maguire! You don't really want to be using a change on centre half. Tell you what, Harry Maguire's looking good. Is his hair darker or something? I don't know what it is. He looks.
I think his hair's always been like that.
He looks thinner. I don't know what it is. His face looks thinner. It doesn't.
It looks longer. His hair looks longer. That helps.
Maybe that's what it is.
Now barbers are open.
Yeah, that is true. Do you think he's still living like 3 months ago? Well, barbers can't be open yet.
Josh is, to be fair.
I was.
He's waiting for the
Euro. In the future soon.
Josh is still wondering if Calvin Phillips is going to get a call up.
See, for all you know, I could be 2 minutes ahead. I could be watching this on terrestrial and just staying quiet.
Terrestrial. I love the word
terrestrial. It sounds so foreign.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't know how I got the 2006 World Cup in Germany. Remember where we used to live? We used to. Do you remember the old TVs? They used to have the huge box at the back.
Yeah.
I remember my mum. We had a bunch like mum's mates around, and outside we had like big like fence kind of thing, like that you take to the beach. There were a paddling pool that were filled with like beers, and then there was a TV with then someone who was sat next to the TV holding the satellite so we could watch the World Cup. Nothing beats that. Nothing beats watching football outside, in fairness.
I tell you, they're getting into the game now, Croatia. We've about 15 minutes left. It's took them a while, but again, they're just not doing much with the ball.
No, they haven't been at the best today, Croatia. If this is the best, then they're not having a great tournament. I'll tell you. But
it still wouldn't surprise me if they did what Wales did. And they got themselves a goal.
Oh.
It would be so England, wouldn't it, to play I would say, a pretty good game. I think we've played the game all right. It's not been an enjoyable match to watch. It won't go down as a classic, but I think we've played good enough to get a win. It would be so England to concede in the 90th minute. That's Petkovic
coming on, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He brings an extra dimension to the game. I think that'll be we'll see the balls lobbed into the box. Quite tall player. Done well at Zagreb this season.
He is. And it would have been one of them if they could bring on Orsic as well. They would have the connection between the two. They've been part of that front formation all season. But unfortunately not. And with 12 minutes to go, it's one of them. I think I'm like you, Josh. I'm in a weird point where Croatia haven't troubled us, but that makes me more scared.
Yeah, because then I question whether England will just feel, settled enough to think, okay, we've got the result in the bag.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think
they've got players that are good enough to put the ball in the back of the net with one shot.
Yeah, you don't want to get naive at this point. Which if we keep switched on, we should be all right. And they look like they're celebrating the victory already. Fair play to them.
But it does look sweltering. Is that a man or is it a man? Billy Connolly's let himself go on it.
Tell you what, we said about Harry Maguire's hair. Can that guy see?
I didn't know Jesus was an England fan, but now we know. So there we go. Pick up the boy. You see,
fair play to them though. What an experience, isn't it? In the weather that we've got right now, 28 degrees there, I think it is. To be one of the very lucky few fans that have been able to go to Wembley for this game is a nice experience to have.
Yeah, very, very fortunate. And obviously, as you said, I think we spoke about it yesterday, Josh, in terms of this is what the nation needs. We need something to get behind. And this performance, I've got to admit, hasn't really propelled it yet. But if we could get all 3 points, it stands us in good stead in this group. Because this, on paper, is the toughest test as Kane chases down Vida and he gives it back to Livakovic.
I think the most exciting will be the Scotland game, just because it's a rivalry. It's a derby, isn't it? It's an international derby at Wembley. First time since '96 since that's happened. That will have a lot on the line, regardless of whether it was a European Championship game or not.
And that game we played against them where Lee Griffiths turned into the dead ball specialist. It finished, was it 2-2? Harry Kane, I think, equalised in like the last minute. Good game, that. Really good game.
I think that has the potential to be a bit of a Euro classic, maybe. We'll have to see, though, because I guess if Scotland win tomorrow, then who knows with that game? We could both be on 3 points, maybe, and we might be settling for a draw so we can beat Croatia and Czech Republic out.
Scotland winning tomorrow.
They've
got a chance. They really do.
Yeah.
They're in very good form. Let's not forget, they've got a 2-2 draw. I know it's obviously not hard to get a result against Netherlands right now, but they're in very good form.
And on paper, Serbia looked a better team than them in the game as Jude Bellingham looked ready to come on. But I think Scotland shouldn't be underestimated. Steve Clarke's doing a very good job with them. I've got to admit, as much as I hate to admit.
And again, for them, first time since '96 that they've been at the Euros, there's not much pressure on them. So they can go out there and play free-flowing and enjoy themselves. And I would love to see them get through with us. I think it'd be nice for both England and Scotland to get through.
Well, that's the other club nations.
I want to see on the tournament prediction. I want to see Scotland can... Say that again.
We're taking off Harry Kane for Jude Bellingham.
Oh.
Sterling up top. Yeah. This is the worry about... Yeah, Rashford up top, maybe. It still worries me a bit, Josh. You know the thing we said earlier about like settling in, maybe move Mount forward, put Bellingham into a midfield three. It's not too bad. No, it's all right.
Social media is about to erupt in a second.
They'll play the 4-2-2 with Mount and Bellingham a bit wider than Rashford and Sterling.
I think he'll go 4-3-3. I think he's reluctant to change.
Yeah. By the way, fun fact for you: Jude Bellingham is now the youngest player to ever play at the European Championships.
Wow,
good lad.
I think it says about 13 days away from turning 18. He's the youngest player to ever play.
Oh, good tackle on. Sterling over the top. It's too much. It's too much on that.
In 13 days, he gets a 2-year extension as well.
He does.
It's very nice to see.
Yeah, it looks like Mount's on the right, Sterling on the left. It'll be a 4-5-1 out of possession, a 4-3-3 in possession, probably.
So hopefully we can just go keep our lead. If we bottle it again to Croatia in an international competition.
I'll tell you what, they're playing a high line, Croatia. Deepest man's on the halfway line for them. They clearly want to push men forward, and he's on the left here. It's Perisic, goes for an early cross, should be calmed by Pickford, and it is.
I get worried. Anytime a ball like that, when it's clearly not meant as a shot, but it's dipping.
Are you worried that you're not confident he can reach the crossbar? Because I'm not. He just about reaches it. There he is, just over there.
Safe out. Do you think he's got his initials on his name to remind him who he is?
No.
Just imagine just.
You need to shout when he needs to claim crosses instead of saying keepers. He looks at his JP. Let's go.
Yeah, come on. Do you know if pass lunch coming on, by the way? But do you know when subs are made, instead of flashing up the numbers, it's initials, so he's having to have a look. Oh, no, that's
JP.
Me.
By the way, we've just got the lineups have just come out for the Austria-North Macedonia game. I'll stick them on the screen, so there's something else to talk about for a second. Goran Pandev starts for North Macedonia, which is what we want to see. That's what the fans want. The fans want to see it. So the lineup is there. I don't know if you can see it a great deal or not, but David Alaba's playing captain. So many Bundesliga players from Austria, it's unbelievable. Kalajic starts.
Yeah, I thought he would.
Midfield. They've got Alaba, Sabitzer, Conrad Liners in there, Schlager, Baumgartner. In fact, counting the squad, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 9 out of the 11 players that are from the Bundesliga. And then North Macedonia, Pandev's in there, Bardi as well from Levante. He'll be a good player. Elmas as well is in there. Ristovski. They've got a pretty strong squad, I'd say, North Macedonia.
They do.
Oh, there we go.
They do.
Might change into formations in a second.
It'd be interesting. I think Austria might go with a 5 if they are playing Alaba at centre back.
I would probably say they're playing him on the wings. They rarely ever play him as a left back or a centre back. He's usually a left mid.
That's fine then, because I was going to say, because obviously got Liner on the right, Ulmer on the left, Hinteregger, Dragovic, and if they wanted a 5, obviously you'd whack Alaba in there as well.
Yeah, there we go. So they're going to play 4-4-1-1. Alaba is playing as a left mid in this game. Sabitzer is the central attacking midfielder.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they playing Sabitzer, Cam? Because that's what they did in the friendlies as well.
And then Kalajic is, of course, up top. And then North Macedonia going for a 5-3-2. Alioski playing as a left wing back. Bardi, Ademi, and Elmas in midfield, which I actually think is a quite strong midfield.
Good midfield, yeah.
And then Goran Pandev and Trakovsky up top, which I think I'm pretty sure is that Trakovsky who used to play for Parma.
With that free kick, the reason that they brought on Petkovic is he caused John Stones so much danger, broke away from him quick, and then nearly won the head of Stones and headed back to Pickford.
It's what Josh said when he came on. He gives something different. He's a threat in the box, which they've not had points. I mean, Cromwich is a good specialist. As again, Sterling, stop overhitting the passes, man. Get the weight right.
Bring Grealish on for Sterling now.
Amazing. He's not even played today at all at any point. I don't know how. Not that I want Sterling to come off, but I just think at some points he's just not had the greatest performance, even though he has scored today. Maybe I'm just being harsh. I know.
I've got some good news for you for that game as well, Kieran. Lazaro's on the bench, so you might even see him come on at some point.
What a mighty player, Valentino Lazaro. He's one of them where, again, I'm not sure about him. He's either a right mid, is he a right back? I prefer him as a right wing back. I don't know. He can play anywhere. Another player, like we said earlier, you know that you want him in your team because you can put him anywhere, and he's pretty decent.
So versatile.
Yeah,
they've got a good squad. I think they're very similar to Switzerland, Austria, that they don't have. They've got one world-class player in Alaba, but I guess it's a little bit harder to just have one player who's a little bit more defensively minded as world-class. Realistically, you want a Wales situation where you've got one world-class forward that can change a game and do magic.
I think they have some players that are on the brink of being incredible. Like Sabitzer is really, really good. I think Xavi Schlager, I've talked to Rowan, I love Xavi Schlager. I think he's absolutely brilliant. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. They've got Stefan Liner, so that's 2 world-class players they've got.
Good header.
It's just a good team. It's very Switzerland-esque, I agree with you, Josh. It's just whether they get it right on the European stage. Because I remember last Euros, I fancied them to do well, and they just weren't very good. They didn't.
No, and I think I look at the team as well, and in the past, I think it was a few months ago or a few weeks ago, it might have been, when Denmark smashed them 4-0. It's like they're a very good team, but they are prone to a few heavy defeats here and there.
Jude Bellingham down. He went for the header. Vida heading him in the back of the head. And England's number 9 ×2 coming on.
See if he can maybe make a difference in this game.
First thing he does, he wins an header. That's what he's going to do. First thing, he's going to win an header. What a beast.
Do you think we'll see much of him in the tournament, or do you think he's going to be a bit more of a substitute player?
He'll be a sub, a bit part player. Depends, as you said earlier, it's very hard, but if the group is wrapped up by the last game, maybe, if we know we're on 6, the other lot are on 3, and we're good enough to get away, maybe. But I think he's just going to be a sub because Kane's that good. It's like if you go back up at Tottenham, you're never going to start unless it's a cup game. So that's what it'll be.
We'll see Bellingham back up on his feet. It'll just be a cameo play, won't it, DCL?
I think it'll be good. Oh. How's he get... See, if DCL's on that, he gets his head on that.
Was that free? I thought it was what's it called? I thought it was just a dead ball situation.
Probably just maybe it was a drop bar. I don't know. I didn't see the clap.
Yeah, just Bellingham went up, flicked it back, won the header, and Vida just headed in the back of him. Just to come in together. Dead ball.
It'll be a drop ball. And it's definitely a 4-3-3. It's definitely.
Well, obviously, concussion protocols, they have to get there quick.
Yeah, we saw yesterday, Castagna. He's out for the whole tournament, isn't he?
Really?
Yeah. Broken.
Double fractured eye socket.
I saw the image, but I couldn't tell who it was.
I was like, wait,
Yeah,
I thought it was Castagna, but I was like, his eye looks quite meshed up there. God.
I think Italy have lost Florenzi for the whole tournament as well.
It's a
I
good
know
ball.
Portugal have lost João Cancelo. For
Yeah, it's COVID.
yeah,
Dalot
so
comes in, doesn't it?
that's one thing I do think that this tournament will throw up some moments where you're not sure because of the long season. And we've seen a lot of players go down already and need to be. I mean, look at Russia last night. They made 3 subs within 45 minutes.
I had no idea what the Russian manager was doing with that game. To take Yuri Zirkov, who played, I think it was 80 minutes of football for the entire season, he must have been smoking some shit to do that.
That's why apparently the Russian press are not very happy with him, because he kind of is a bit stubborn when it comes to, like, I don't think you should take Zirkov when, as you said, he played 79 minutes of football all season. I know you train, but it's not match fitness, is it?
No.
Is Mason Mount coming off for DCL, I think? No, Sterling's coming off for DCL. Thank God. Thank God.
Another captain change.
That's just to waste time. Definitely.
100%.
I mean, look,
it's
not his best game in the world, but he might have got the crucial goal to win us the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rashford will go left, DCL up top. And he'll be the match winner. I don't think he's man of the match, but I think he's the match winner at this point.
Who would you go man of the match? Because I think for me it'd be Calvin.
Calvin Phillips.
I agree.
Yeah, I think genuinely Tyrone Mings. Let him.
I don't think.
I think has had not man of the match performance, but people would call him question why he's been chosen, but I think he's had a solid game.
I think that's because Croatia haven't troubled us though.
Probably.
I just don't think they've not really done anything where our defence has had to be called into question that much. To be honest with you, I think they'll be disappointed, Croatia. But if they can nick an equaliser and do a Wales,
I know it's not over yet.
We've got time.
The fat lady sings 2 minutes left.
Good tackle.
Good challenge. Just got to hold on now, England. I mean, Croatia will just hold this ball up and probably wait till the last minute to stop a chance at an England counter-attack.
I think they'll just go forward, to be honest with you. They need to score. And they've got the ball into the box. And Pickford, well done. Bit of authority from him there. Well done, Pickford.
In fairness, for sometimes it doesn't work just on the ball. You're going to hear this, but in the A-League elimination final, that's exactly what happened. Mariners tried to hold the ball up literally till the final 20 seconds, pinged it long, and a Roos counter-attacked and scored. I think Croatia will obviously definitely haven't watched it in terms of they won't want to hold the ball up and then give England another opportunity to get another goal. Because if this tournament does come down to goal difference, Croatia may just want to take a 1-0 loss.
No, I didn't want to get an equaliser. That's what they look. Every time they go in, they're trying to go forward.
Kyle Walker collects Pickford. Just clicks it out, well done.
Last chance saloon now.
It's a decent result in the end if it ends 1-0.
I think it's one of them. Will it be memorable? No, but we might look back and think that was the start we needed to really click and get into gear, because we don't look like we've been at our best today. But if you're not at your best and you win, it's like league football. You'll definitely take it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is as well, I think the most important thing is getting that first win on the board and just getting 3 points. I think 3 points in most cases will be more than enough to put yourself in a good position to go through, whether it be third place or second or whatever it'll be. But I think to say we've not played great, I think they've played really, really poor today, Croatia. I wouldn't be, if I was a Croatia fan, I wouldn't be excited with how they've started.
One last chance, though.
Unless they get a goal here. This would be
45 seconds left.
Wouldn't it, to concede?
They're going to go long.
20 seconds over the time. Perisic on the thrower.
Send the keeper up. Why not? Send Livakovic up.
It's in the box. Comes down.
Oh!
No.
Hey.
No. That was nowhere near.
Yeah, but
and that's that. Game over.
Happy days.
The win. It's a win.
It's a solid. Probably what should have been our toughest game of the group stage. Come out, get a convincing, I would say, 1-0 win.
Yeah, I think it's a good result in the end. Perfect way to start. I think Gareth Southgate will be fairly happy with that. There's a lot of work, I think, still to do in some areas of the team, but a good, not a great match, as we said, not a memorable game whatsoever. But Sasha's saying we miss Mario Mandzukic and Ivan Rakitic. We lose the battle, but not the war, which is, I think, a very good way to put it, because you've still got another 2 games to go, and there's a long way to go in this group stage. And of course, with Scotland, Czech Republic tomorrow, if they maybe do draw that game, then I think it'll put Croatia in even better stead for that match. But it was a decent enough game for England to go out there and get 3 points. And I think at the end of the day, we cannot complain whatsoever, can we?
No, not at all.
No. To be fair, we could play like trash, and as long as we win, I don't mind.
Yeah, exactly. And our next game, of course, is against Scotland. That is on, I believe, it might be Tuesday night. I think Tuesday at 8 o'clock. It's a late nighttime kickoff. Friday at 8 o'clock. It's on. So we've got 5 days before the next match. Good chance to rest. And then after that, we play Czech Republic on Tuesday. So it's a quick break in between each match. But talking about matches, we've got more matches still to come today. We won't have too long to wait. We're on in about an hour's time. Because Austria take on North Macedonia. You can join myself and KL for that game. Of course, I'm just going through the lineups right now and just getting them all sorted on Photoshop. As we said before, Goran Pandev starts. He's the captain for North Macedonia, as you would expect. Austria, very strong team, 4-4-1-1. Alaba is in the side. He's alongside Sabitzer and Sasha Kalajic. It's going to be very exciting to watch. Hopefully, it should be a good game. That I think that could be one of those games, and I don't want to hype it up too much and jinx it, but I really do think that game's got hidden potential. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, completely agree.
Very under the radar game. And then Rowan, of course, you're back tonight. We weren't originally going to cover it, but Rowan, the hero, coming in at the last second.
I saw it was on the schedule and all the adverts, but no one's name was there. It was to be announced. I was like, well, might as well take it. I get to do my first full 90 minutes at least as well.
Yeah. It should be a very good game indeed. Netherlands, Ukraine. Rowan will be live about 5-10 minutes before kickoff with those games. And I hope you've got the national anthems ready as well for that. Rowan,
I've got them ready.
Need to go and get them.
That genuinely, I had such high hopes for the national anthems, and I was like, you know what? Because I had the idea, because after watching the F1 Grand Prix, the Azerbaijan national anthem is incredible. Like, if I was an Azerbaijani international, I would feel the most proud of anything. And then I played the Denmark and Finland ones, and the national anthems are not good. They're not good. So
no, to be fair, national anthems aren't like the amazing things, are they? They're not dubstep and heavy beats dropping.
Trust me, Azerbaijan. God, by the way, before we go to the stream, we need a better national anthem. God Save the Queen. I don't feel like it's got the same. I don't know. It's okay, innit? I want a power ballad. I want like a Celine Dion, one that you can proper belt your heart out to.
Who knows? Maybe one day we might get it. We'll have to see. But that's Rowan's rants for the day done. We've got more games coming up over the weekend as well. As we said, we're literally live in about an hour's time for Austria versus North Macedonia. Time to watch Goran Pandev rip up the Euros. Scotland versus Czech Republic. That's on Monday at 5-2. So that's going to be with KD. Should be an interesting game. Group D, of course, after England's win today. Spain against Sweden. That's at 10-8. That'll be with me. We'll cover all the rest of the games from the day. That's at 10-8 on Monday. And then on Tuesday, Hungary take on Portugal. That's at 5-5. There's only 2 games on that day, sadly. The other match, though, is a belter. What a way to end match day 1. France taking on Germany. That's at 10-8. That will be with KD on the 15th of June. But as for now, I'm going to get the lineups all sorted out for the next game of the afternoon, which is Austria versus North Macedonia. I want to say a massive thank you to Rowan and KL as always. We got a win on the board. We're off to the right start, which is what we want. And as Chris has perfectly put, let's not get into the coming home nonsense. Take one game at a time. It's fucking coming home, Chris.
It's coming home.
Coming home.
The Hendo Shuffle is coming at Wembley at the end of July. Let's hope it does. But as for now, thank you very much once again, Kieran and Rowan. We'll be back in about an hour's time for Austria to get spanked off by North Macedonia. As for now, we'll see you later.